The forecast is calling for showers, but the Baker Hornets are trying to gain some sunshine on a new season. But across the field, the Theodore Bobcats want to rain on Baker's parade tonight and get their first win of the year. Region action starts tonight with week 2 of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Whedon with Corey LeBounty. Down on the sidelines, it's Kimberly Dunn. Corey, it may be wet, but the Hornet hooligans are out tonight at Baker.
No doubt about it, Al. You have to be excited to be out here in West Mobile, and you can look at the glass half full or half empty if you're a Baker Hornet fan. You didn't have an opportunity to have football last week, but Danny Smith and the guys are excited about the opportunity that's presented them tonight. They know it's a huge region game that in week 9 or 10 can speak volumes of possibly seeding in the playoffs.
You're right about that. It is a Region 1 matchup. Last week I told you it is big boy football tonight in West Mobile. It may be rainy, but it's a lot of people still here in the house. Let's get right to it, Corey. The checklist, it's up. Baker is the home team. What do you have on the checklist for the Baker Hornets tonight?
Well, it's going to be very important for Baker to have stingy defense. That means they have 6 returning defensive starters. Their strength is in the front 7, the linemen and the linebackers. They must also sustain long drives offensively and complete passes on the perimeter. Coach Danny Smith and his new offensive coordinator, Justin Patterson, love to run the football, but they know that they must complete those passes. They must also control the Baker box up front. And what do I mean by that? They must control the line of scrimmage. That is the strength of this Baker team, as they have many returning starters up in the front as well, Al.
Now, across the gridiron, you had the visiting Theodore Bobcats. What's on your checklist for them tonight?
It's important. Eric Collier, the head coach of the Theodore Bobcats, spoke that they must start fast early. Last week, they dug themselves a hole against the Daphne Trojans, and he feels that if his team can get off to a good start, Al, that it will help them in the long run playing 4 quarters of football. They must also figure it out on the fly. Baker has 2 new coordinators, offensive coordinator being Justin Patterson in his first year coming from Saraland High School. And on the defensive side of the football, you have J.C. Todd in his first year. He's coming from the Tuscaloosa area. The third thing for Theodore, they must show special teams improvement. They had an opportunity to tie the football game last week against the Daphne Trojans, and they had a botched snap. Last year, they had big Tamaje Porter actually doing kickoffs for them. So they want to have special teams improvement this year and be complete in all phases of the game.
All right, looks like you did your homework tonight with your checklist. I think we may be taking it down to the field. Kimberly Dunn's on the sideline. It's rainy and wet, but maybe she can give us an idea of the atmosphere down on the field tonight. What's up, Kim?
That's right, guys. We are here at the newly named Clem Richardson Stadium. And just like you said, it is rainy, it is wet, and it is muggy, and this ground is soggy. So these guys really have it out for them tonight. Not only the weather may not be cooperating, but they've got some tough ground to play on. They may have wet hands. We may see a lot of fumbles tonight, but they have got to get those mistakes under control in order to have a great football game this evening.
All right, Kim, I appreciate that, giving us a checkup down on the field. Well, just like she talked about, got to have things together, Corey. So who's going to make an impact tonight for the Baker Hornets?
The Baker Hornets are led by senior running back Joshua Pruitt. Joshua Pruitt is an impact player, and I'll talk about him throughout the entire contest, about his academics as well as his athletics. But also Terrell Crane, the senior linebacker. Look for him to be very active for the Baker Hornets defensively tonight.
All right, across the field, who do you have for Theodore's impact players for tonight?
Theodore is going to start with their quarterback, senior Tyler Underwood, having an opportunity to lead this team this year. Also, senior strong safety Cameron Brown. Cameron Brown has a few offers for some colleges, and we'll talk about his offers later on in tonight's contest. But these are the impact players that jump out at you at the beginning of the game. Of course, Theodore does have a dynamic junior linebacker, Demoy Kennedy, who is verbally committed to Auburn. So we'll be calling his name a lot tonight also. But look for those 2 Theodore Bobcat players to be and have an impact on tonight's contest.
I appreciate that. Speaking of an impact, we've talked about it all season, even though we're in the second week. Instant replay, and tonight we had an opportunity down on the field. Baker does have instant replay installed here at the stadium, so both coaches have the red flag in their pocket. They were given instructions by the referee tonight, Alan Doohy, on what to do, how to proceed if they want to go with the if you want to call it a review of a play. So, Corey, maybe that might have an impact on the game tonight as things start to develop here at Baker.
Well, it's just a new, interesting dynamic that's added to high school football, and because of it, if a red flag is thrown, we knew a couple of years ago here in the spring game, we did see Blount and Baker experiment with that instant replay, so we'll see how it plays out tonight.
It's going to be quite interesting right now. National anthem being performed. Eric Collier, Theodore's coach, is 5-4 all time against Baker. And check this out, Corey. Last season, we all know Baker had a rough one, finished 3-7. All of their wins happened to appear on the MCPSS broadcast of the game of the week. They beat Murphy, they beat Viger, and they beat MGM. We broadcast all of those games, so I don't know. Maybe it might be a luck in the Hornets' favor tonight for being at home.
Danny Smith is very happy when the MCPSS television network pulls up on his campus and has an opportunity to be the MCPSS TV high school football game of the week, but he has 37 seniors on this team. He's dressing out over 96 players, and he feels out of these 37 seniors, he has a lot more leadership. Again, we saw them go through a little tough losing streak and get that final victory that kind of propelled them into the spring. They looked very good against Blount in the spring, had an opportunity to go out to Blount and watch that game, but because of the better leadership this year, they can't wait to play football tonight here in front of the Hornet Hooligans.
You're right about that. National anthem just wrapped up, and we are moments away from kickoff right here in West Mobile. Baker and Theodore going head-to-head. We said it's a region rivalry. This is a 9-team region. So for Baker, as you mentioned, they didn't have a home game last week. They didn't play a game last week. Theodore went on the road and lost to Daphne. So pretty much I talked to Coach Danny Smith. I said, well, tell me about having that week off. Were you guys even ready to play, or is it a motivational tool? He said, we were ready. It's just how the schedule maker came out with it, and we're going to go with that. And pretty much we're ready to play. So with things going like that, we got kickoff headed your way. Take a look at the weather for tonight. Right now, we're going to try to take a peek. Our monitors down, Corey. So I can tell you this, it's cloudy. Well, probably partly cloudy, 78 degrees out here at Hornet Stadium. But also, it is definitely more rain possibly head your way, 10%, but 92% humidity. Baker kicking off. Theodore will be receiving the ball. Back to receive them, DeMoy Kennedy and also Hunter Tillman. You talked about DeMoy earlier during the broadcast, so he plays on defense, but he's also one of the kick returners for Theodore.
He's a huge special teams player. Look for him when Theodore kicks off to be a headhunter also.
There's the kick from Jacob Tanner. Ball taken by Kennedy. Well, that looks like Tillman up the middle and gets to about the 34-yard line.
The
38-yard line, Corey. So Theodore, very good field position right here to start off the game.
Yeah, they're going to start off to about the 38-yard line, and because of that, Al, it is great field position to start tonight's contest. Now, we're going to see this front seven of this Baker defense have an opportunity to dig in early and try to stop the running game that Theodore likes to establish. Coach Collier isn't scared to throw the ball either. As you look at his offensive coordinator, Justin Ridgway, had success throwing the football 1 week ago against Daphne.
Tyler Underwood, one of your impact players for the Bobcats. Hunter Tillman in motion. Hands the ball off to the back right there, and he is on the edge running. Jimmy Haywood, Corey, he's headed to the 20, and the Hornets force him out of bounds right at about the 15, maybe 14-yard line. I'm sorry, let's bring that up to about the 22-yard line.
Jimmy Haywood, the 5'9", 190-pound senior running back, his longest rush last week against Daphne was only 11 yards. He had 11 rushes for 39 yards. He picks up almost 39 yards on one carry alone. The first play, a good one for the Theodore Bobcats.
1st and 10, ball in Baker territory at the 22-yard line. Tyler Underwood there in a pistol formation looking to the sideline, getting the call from the offensive coordinator. Under 10 on the play clock. Throws the ball out to Tillman. It is complete. Looked as if it may have caught some turf, but Corey, they're going to give it to him.
Hunter Tillman, the 5'8", 170-pound senior, had 2 touchdowns receiving last week, had 7 total receptions for 68 yards. He's definitely the guy in the slot who's definitely the favorite target of Tyler Underwood. So you can look for him and Zachary Workman, number 2, who did not play a week ago, for Underwood to go to Workman also tonight. He's at the top of the screen.
Ball sitting at about the 17-yard line, second and about 5. Handoff to Haywood up the middle. Corey, he is running big bruiser, 6 foot and 190 right there, as you said, big kid. And he's close to the first, maybe about 2 yards short from the first down. It'll be 3rd and short for the Bobcats.
DeAndre Hayes from his defensive end position, 6'1", 195-pound senior, along with Terrell Crane making the tackle on the play, picking up 2.
So we'll call about 3rd and 2 right here. Bobcats inside the red zone early, offense on the move. Underwood's going to sneak this one up the middle, follows behind that big line, and that's a first down there, Corey. Now, big line only averaging 204 across the front, but it was enough manpower to get going and get Underwood the first down for the Bobcats.
You get behind 5'9", 240-pound senior Trey Owens in between center and right guard, and Underwood 6'1", 185. You get that momentum going forward. Now it's going to be a first down and goal-to-goal situation.
Bobcats ready to strike right here with 10:05 remaining in the first quarter. A little quick handoff to Zach Workman. Around the end he goes on the jet sweep. Corey, it looks like he's in. The signal is touchdown. Workman with about a 10-yard run for the touchdown, and the Bobcats on the board.
Workman coming from his wide receiver position on the end around. Workman 6'1", 175-pound senior. He did not play a week ago against the Daphne Trojans. Just goes around that right end, is able to turn the corner for 10 yards, scores 6 points for the Bobcats early.
On for the PAT, Marcos Lynn for the Bobcats. Kick is up, and it is good. So Baker on top, 7-0 right now, 9:54 remaining. We'll be back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well-balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey LeBounty. Down on the field is Kimberly Dunn. It's wet and soggy, and Corey, right now, Baker off to a kind of wet and soggy start, giving off a quick touchdown to the Bobcats there.
That drive was 5 plays, 62 yards, and again, it only took maybe 2 minutes and 6 seconds off of the clock, so not the type of defensive production that Baker would really like to have had, but now offensively, Baker has an opportunity to answer the bell.
Back to receive for the Hornets, Fernando Billups and Terry Waters. It looks like Billups is going to get it. It bounces off his hand and goes into the end zone. So that'll be an automatic touchback. Not a good way for the Baker Hornets to start on the offense for the 2018 season there.
Seth Tillman, the 5'11", 175-pound senior, kicking the ball off with Theodore, and that's the type of production that you would like from your kicker, making the Hornets take the ball over on their own 20-yard line, having to go 80 to get 6 on the board.
Nick Summerlin coming out the quarterback. The Hornets 6'1", 170 junior, taking his first snap of the season here. Lined up behind him, big Josh Pruitt. You talked about him earlier as one of your impact players, Corey. So Summerlin under center here. And see what the Hornets going to come out with. Look like they're packaging up to run this one right up the middle possibly. Hand off to Pruitt. He's met pretty much right at the line of scrimmage, maybe one on the carry there.
Tall sweep by the Baker Hornets, their offensive coordinator, as I mentioned earlier, Justin Patterson, and it's going to bring up a no gain on the play. So you look at Joshua Pruitt, he's a very upright runner, 6'2", 205-pound senior, trying to make a difference.
Hornets in the I formation right there looking to the sideline. At media days, Coach Danny Smith said they're going to try to run the ball a lot, maybe do some play action off the run. So we'll see how things develop here. Second about 9. Pruitt right up the middle and met at a wall right there, Corey, and pushed back.
Good
let's take a look at the Baker starting lineup. Nick Summerlin right there is quarterback. We're talking about him. Keep your eyes on a number 88 wide receiver Joshua Muhammad, 6'2", 225 senior, maybe trying to get the ball over the top to him. And the Hornets averaging 275 across the line, Corey, but you wouldn't know it if only maybe gained 1 or 2 yards here.
Ephraim Johnson Boykin, the nose tackle, plugging that middle like Tamonje Porter did a year ago. He's 5'7", 230 pounds, had 2 tackles a week ago. 3rd down, 9 yards to go for the Hornets.
Summerlin back to pass, tries to connect. That ball is intercepted. Ball intended for Kobe Bush, could not get it out to him. So right now it's change with the interception there. So Theodore sitting at a great field position. Corey, I believe they're spotting this at the 35-yard line of Baker. Turnover right there at the 8:28 mark.
Jamel Richardson from his free safety position, 6 foot, 175-pound sophomore, had 8 tackles 1 week ago. You can add an interception to his statistical column, and again, the Bobcats take over at the Hornet 35-yard line.
Theodore offense back on the field early here in the contest. Senior Tyler Underwood steps back. He wants to haul this one off. Does get it out, incomplete. Could not get that connected to Jordan O'Neal. 2nd down and long for Theodore. Take a look at their offense right there. Just talked about Tyler Underwood, one of your impact players. Also keep your eyes out for Jordan O'Neal, number 11. He was trying to connect with him. And also Zach Workman, the wide receiver, had that jet sweep for the touchdown. Theodore only averaging 204 across the front line, but you made mention of Trey Owens earlier, 5'9", 240, and the left guard, DeMarcus Smith, 5'9", 235 senior. 2nd and 10 for the Bobcats. Handoff up the middle, gains a couple of yards on the run right there for the Bobcats. Jacob Johnson.
DeAndre Hayes and Cameron Brown on the stop for the Hornets. Going to bring up 3rd down and 10, as on 1st down, Tyler Underwood went through his progressions and just wasn't able to pick up enough. It's 3rd and long, right where Baker wants him. The defensive coordinator, J.C. Todd, is able to dial up any type of defensive scheme he would like right now.
Trips at the bottom, including Tillman, one of his favorites. Underwood going to the other side, and that ball is almost intercepted off the hands of the Baker cornerback, Jalen Lee, Corey.
Jalen Lee, the 5'9", 160-pound senior, had that football right in his hands and wasn't able to come away with it. But you're in a situation now at 4th down and 10. You're in kind of no man's land to where you can go ahead and pooch kick this straight up in the air if you're Theodore. Seth Tillman, again, he is the punter for the Bobcats, and going back deep for the Baker Hornets will be Jalen Lee, who just dropped that interception that would have changed the kind of momentum of the game and gave the Baker Hornets sidelines a reason to erupt, but he's going to punt the ball away nonetheless.
Motions for the fair catch, but doesn't get on it. But the Bobcats are all over it, Corey. The ball down at about the 1.5-yard line. Wow, look at there. So great down for the Bobcats right there. Got to thank my folks at Future Ones for taking care of us with the gear tonight. Future Ones, Corey, what can you say? I'm feeling cool. It's humid, but you know what? This non-wicking material, I have no sweat on me right now, Corey.
Gus Smith and Trent Massey do a wonderful job with their company at Future Ones. They have the interchangeable practice jerseys, also full athletic apparel for any type of team that you may have athletically.
All right, Baker backed up right now against their own goal line. Ball placed at about the 2-yard line, so it's 98 yards to get to the end zone, Corey. Let's see what they can come up with. 7:28 right here in the first quarter. Hand off to Josh Pruitt, weaving his way up the middle, gets some breathing room, gets past the 5, maybe up to the 6 or 7-yard line.
And that's a big run. You just want to make sure that you get that push and you don't get sacked in the end zone for a safety, so that gives the Hornets a little bit of breathing room. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 6, but good job of the offensive line up front. That's center Dalton Lehman, Cancillo, Winwestro, Jackson Martin, and the tight end Muhammad.
Oh yeah, that big beef there for Baker. Gets the ball out. That ball is incomplete complete to Anthony Denson. Gives more breathing room, Corey. Close to the 1st down marker. Let's see where they're going to put this at here. 6:53 remaining in the first quarter.
Bring up third down and probably about 4 yards to go. Anthony Denson Jr., the 5'9", 155-pound senior, with a good catch on the play. Just picks up 1 yard, but it's a good job of the quarterback, Summerlin, rolling out of the pocket to his right, throwing a strike.
Definitely important right here for the Hornets to try to get this first down. Corey, I also noticed, thought it was a problem with the clock, but they're not. Man wide open out there past the outstretched hands of Derek Nobles, could not bring it in. That would have been huge for a first down and some extra yardage.
What an outstanding play call by offensive coordinator Justin Patterson. And unfortunately for fullback Derek Nobles, 5'7", 175-pound junior, just was not able to get his hands around the pigskin and squeeze it and look it all the way in, because he had a lot of green grass in front of him to rumble. Now it's going to bring up again 4th down and 5, putting Baker in a situation where they must have good protection up front, and it looks like Hunter Tillman is going to be the returner for the Bobcats.
Jacob Tanner on to punt in the end zone. And we have a timeout right now. Theodore has called a timeout. Coach Eric Collier and his crew looks as if maybe they're going to talk this one over, Corey, with Baker backed up, maybe put on the block team here.
It's a good call. 6:48 remaining here in the first quarter. You want to make sure that you have your special team solid. You don't want to jump off sides and give Baker the automatic first down. And it's an opportunity to present yourself with strategy as well. Do I put my punt block team in? Do I put my punt return team in? Because either way it goes, when you put toe to leather, the Bobcats are still going to be in great field position once they receive this football. So the biggest thing is to make sure you don't commit any penalties if you're the Bobcats, that'll give the Hornets an opportunity for first down.
So Tillman is coming out to return for the Bobcats, lining up at about the 45-yard line. Hopefully, Baker can get off a nice, clean punt as well. We talked about it has been raining. The field is wet. Balls may be a little wet. Ground is soggy as well. So let's see if it can be a clean snap and a clean kick here for Baker. Tillman moves back to about midfield stripe for the return. Tanner gets it off, and Corey kind of shanks it off of his foot there. Ball bounces, maybe hits at about the 33. Let's see where they mark it at. About the 32.5, about 32-yard line. So great field position for the Bobcats. They picked off the interception. They had the ball at the 35. Now they're at the 32. Let's see what Coach Eric Collier and his team can come up with here.
Well, the biggest thing for the Bobcats is they had and were very effective in that first drive, kind of got the Hornets on their toes early. But in that second drive, you could really see the Baker defense really dig in and start being stingy up front. What's also very, very important for the Theodore Bobcats is that they have production on first down. You saw the incomplete pass last time on first down by Underwood, and that led to a 2nd down and long situation. So if you have productive yards on first down, it changes the entire play calling ability.
Sky's getting a bit gloomy right here in West Mobile. Action is definitely heating up. 6:40 in the first quarter, and that's a live ball. Haywood needs to get on it. He does not, and Baker appears to have recovered it, Corey, on the botched handoff. Well, a little toss right there to Haywood, and that's a turnover. So Baker capitalizes ball on their own 49-yard line. Look at Lady Luck.
It was great penetration in our first situation to where you now see the Bobcats turn the ball over, and that's just like an extended punt for Baker, because now when they take over right here at the 48-yard line, really the 49-yard, their own 49-yard line, it really flips the field for the Hornets, and that's what they really need. They needed some type of excitement with 6:31 here remaining in the first quarter. Now they just need to sustain some type of drive, and I talked about it early. You know, you can look for the perimeter passes to be completed, and that's very important because we've just seen a steady dose of the running game. We need to see Baker complete some passes also.
Right, go over the top. Oh, my goodness. Quarterback goes down, Summerlin goes down, and the ball pops out as well. So, Corey, maybe conditions are having an effect tonight here. 2 plays back-to-back, possibly slippery football, maybe slippery footing.
You look at Nick Summerlin, again, he's the 6'1", 170-pound junior quarterback. He just really lost his footing because you mentioned it. There was a torrential rainfall prior to this game starting. The field has drained well, but it's still humid and it's still very slippery. And Baker has the sustained long drives offensively. He's going to have close to a 5-yard loss on the play, going to back it up to their own 45.
We're under 6 minutes, so at our next dead ball, we will have our first heat timeout, and that was almost possibly a turnover right there. Ball incomplete. Takes Baker to 3rd down, not taking opportunity right now. Let's see with referee Alan Doohy, and he does call for the heat timeout, Corey. So at the 5:46 mark, we'll have our first heat timeout. I believe Kimberly Dunn is down on the sidelines with a guest. Who do you have, Kim?
That's right, guys. I'm here with Baker's new principal, Mr. John Peru. How are you doing this evening?
I'm fantastic. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Got a great atmosphere going on.
Yes, we do. So can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on at the school and about your signature academies that you have to offer?
Well, we got a lot going on in the school, as you can see. The Hornet Hooligans are at it. Our volleyball is up in Birmingham playing right now. We got a great game going on here. As far as our signature academy, our AP capstone program is fantastic. This past year we had 102 AP capstone students. We saved over $1 million in scholarship money. So we're saving people money by coming to Baker High School.
Yes. So what kind of changes do you have in store for this school and for these students?
Well, we have to have high expectations, and we got to get better every day. We got to be better tomorrow than what we are today. And we got to continue to improve in everything we do. It doesn't matter what we do, academics, athletics, behavior. We got to be the best, and we got to work hard to be the premier high school in the state.
Yes. So what is it like coming from being the principal at a middle school into now a high school atmosphere?
Well, it's very similar. People think there's a big difference, but it's really not. But it's fantastic for me because I had a lot of these kids in middle school. So it's great to see those guys grow up and become young men and young women.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to speak with us.
Thank you. Go Baker.
Thank you, Kimberly. And right on time, Go Baker. Summerlin scrambles and picks up the first down, Corey. So looking at the principal gave him a boost, you could say.
And that's a huge run by quarterback Nick Summerlin. And he stepped up into the pocket, and Theodore lost containment and didn't have anybody to spy on him. But that's the type of momentum that you need to see by this Baker Hornet offense. They were able to pick up a long run, maybe of 17, 13 yards, and that's huge right there as they take it over at their own 43-yard line. Excuse me, at the Bobcat 43-yard line.
Well, the down marker says 4th down. We thought he had picked up the first down, Corey, so we shall see here. It appears the way the chains are set up, it does appear to be 4th down.
I thought he
Smith
picked
is
it
calling
up,
the
but
timeout
apparently
right now to discuss
when he extended the football, they said he was not beyond the first down marker. And, you know, it's a situation where they come up just a little bit short. Going to bring up 4th down and 3. If you're Baker right here, you can choose to try to flip the field, but we'll see what happens.
Let's take a live look in at Davidson and Bryant right now in MCPSS student production. They're down there in the I playing, Corey. Davidson on top, 7-0 right now in the first quarter. Principal here, Baker, just told Kimberly about the excitement and everything's going on, and while they were doing the interview, we took a look behind us, and we can still see the line wrapped out almost to the parking lot. People still trying to get into the game tonight, Corey. Yes, it's rainy. It's very cool, feels very, very great temperature, maybe a little less than 79 degrees right now, very windy, but folks are still paying to come out, and the rain's not doing anything to drive them away.
Yeah, it's up to these athletes on the field now to go ahead and complete and to play through while there's no rain.
So after the discussion, it is short, 4th down, direct snap to Fernando Billups. Corey, that is snuffed out. He is pushed back. Let's see where they stop his forward progress, maybe at about the 49-yard line of Theodore. So ball over on downs. That did not trick the Bobcats at all. They were prepared and ready for it.
It was a situation to where the penetration of Theodore was really in the backfield by the time the ball was, as Pruitt was already 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So Baker wasn't able to capitalize off of that huge turnover, and now the Bobcats, coach wanted that fast start. He got the fast start being up 7-0. Let's see if they can try to turn the tide, so to speak, after that last turnover.
Underwood fakes the handoff, decides to keep it, and he is sacked behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. The Hornets all over.
Good job of getting into the backfield. by Cameron Brown. Cameron Brown, again, 6'1", 180-pound senior. It's going to be close to a 6-yard loss on the play. And he came from that left outside linebacker position and did a wonderful job getting penetration.
Hunter Tillman in motion on the jet sweep. He comes around the top edge there. Brought down. Maybe picks up maybe a couple, but tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Give him some positive yardage. So I believe they are going to put him back to the original line right there. It'll be 3rd and 10 here for the Bobcats.
Hunter Tillman had 1 rush last week for -5 yards, so he's going to probably be at -2 now for the season. But again, 3rd down and long coming up for Theodore.
Underwood drops back. He steps into that one, goes to his #1 target, Hunter Tillman. Baker saying it hit the ground, but the officials are walking up to mark it. Corey, I wonder if a replay make, and there, well, Coach Danny Smith did throw the red flag out on the field.
It's definitely incomplete because it was ruled incomplete.
So
they just took a little while to signal.
There we are.
Therefore, he didn't have to throw that challenge flag.
So it was incomplete. You can see the Hornet cornerbacks and DBs all saying he didn't catch it, to hit the ground. So it's 4th down for Theodore. Back to punt for them, Seth Tillman. And running out onto the field for the Hornets to retrieve the punt, Isaiah Dixon. Dixon takes about the 12-yard line, gets maybe 1 or 2. Clock stops exactly at 4 minutes here. Take it up the road and have a live look in at Citronelle and Leroy. Citronelle on top right now, 7-0, another MCPSS student production. I think they've gone to a break there, Corey. So we're going to come back live right here. 3:57. So, Corey, right now, what are you saying to the Baker Hornets offense if you're the coach right now? Had an opportunity, kind of shot themselves in the foot both times here.
They just need, again, that little spark. The long run that they had by their quarterback, Summerlin, gave him a little bit of jolt, but he was a couple of yards short where I thought he picked up the 1st down. They said he stepped out before the marker, but it's going to be up to Josh Pruitt, or again, completing these short passes that Baker's going to have to complete in order to make this and extend this game for him.
Fake handoff to Pruitt on a little bubble screen. He connects with Denson. Denson trying to weave his way, maybe picks up 4 or 5 for the Hornets. Last season, Baker averaged 23.7 points on offense, and the defense only gave up 14.2. Unfortunately, the Hornets ended up on the wrong side of the records chart with 3-7. Not a very productive last year for the Baker Hornets.
Yeah, they're trying to, again, build off of the spring momentum, bringing in new coordinators, new voices. Danny Smith, an outstanding coach, has been around the Mobile County Public School system since his days at Shaw High School. And, again, that's a completed pass to Summerlin really needed, and hopefully it puts them in a better situation here at about 2nd and 5.
Little quick handoff, trying to get that jet sweep going, and it is interrupted. And no, the Bobcats stop again. DeMarquez Williams on the carry there, Corey.
You want to be able to turn it up north and south if you're DeMarquez Williams, the 5'9", 160-pound junior on the run. And the tackle, again, quickly by the Bobcats. The pursuit by the Bobcats is outstanding. You're going to have to turn it up against the Bobcats. They're too fast defensively for you to run laterally. You want to get north and south.
Big 3rd down right here for Baker. Trips to the bottom of the screen. They're going to spread it out. Clock running at 2:35 here in the 1st quarter. Summerlin decides to keep it. Corey's got room. He's up the middle. He's a crafty, shifty little guy. Picks up the 1st down.
And that's something you can see when that pocket breaks down. We saw it just moments ago for him to have a positive rushing yards. But that's something that Baker must do. They must control the line up front, the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. Really, the only time that they have not been able to do that was on that first 5-play drive that the Theodore Bobcats put together to put 6 on the board. Other than that, they've started to be very, very productive.
If I'm correct, that may have been Baker's first down of the ball game, Cora. And there's their first flag.
And it's been a pretty clean game early, which is very important for both coaches, and especially being Baker's first game. They didn't want to come out of the box, getting behind the sticks, but that time the false start will put them 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. First down and 15 now for the Hornets.
Let's see how it works out for them to pick up the first down. There's their first penalty, so it's 1st and 15. Alan Duhan, our head official tonight, also backed up by Aiden Thomas, Donnie Frazier, Mike Augustine, Chip Mayhall, Willie Frazier, and Russell Connolly.
Summerlin so far has 3 rushes for 18 yards, has been the biggest offensive weapon.
He has. Pitch out to Pruitt. He cuts back trying to cut in, and look at there. A sprawl of Bobcats all over him, and that's going to be a tackle for loss.
Yeah, that's great pursuit by the Bobcats. Michael Williams along with Travion Pines on the tackle for Theodore, and situation now it's going to be about 2nd and about 17 yards to go.
1:30 remaining here in the first quarter. Summerlin looking to the sideline. You're right, he's been pretty much the only positive offensive note for Baker tonight. So it's 2nd and long. Fake handoff to Pruitt. Here come the Bobcats, and he connects with Denson. I'm sorry, that's not Denson. Marquez. Leave Marquez, DeMarquez Williams there. Oh, check that, Anthony Phillips on the reception. Picks up a couple yards, Corey, but it's still 3rd and long.
Yeah, Anthony Phillips, 5'8", 175-pound senior, and it's going to be about 3rd down and 14 yards to go for the Hornets, and it's definitely a passing play here, but you don't want to turn the football over. You want to go ahead and punt on 4th down if you're the Hornets.
Play clock approaches 10 seconds as we approach 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Summerlin back to Plaz, set up a little screen to Pruitt. He's got momentum, but he is hit right there at the 40-yard line, but it looks to be just enough to get the first down, Corey.
In a 3rd down and 14 situation, what better play for Justin Patterson to call, the offensive coordinator, is a nice tunnel screen for your fastest player in Joshua Pruitt. Joshua Pruitt, again, one of our impact players, but Joshua Pruitt is a young man who, again, has offers from Army, Navy, Citadel, scored a 28 on his ACT, has a 4.5 GPA.
Wow.
There are over 700 seniors at Baker High School, and he wants to major in aerospace or mechanical engineering. So here's a young man who truly defines what it means to be an athlete, as well as academics coming first.
You're right about that. We're going to see and hear more about Joshua Pruitt and the rest of the Baker Hornets at the end of the first quarter. It's Theodore on top, 7-0 over Baker. We'll be back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
When parents are involved in school, you get more of this and less of this.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
Hello, I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm in the Health Service Academy at John L. LaFleur Magnet High School. My future career is to be an obstetrician gynecologist. With this academy, I'm learning firsthand from people already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job really makes me want to study hard and work harder towards my career goals.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. Visit mcpss.com.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corley Bounty. Down on the field, it's Kimberly Dunn. Theodore on top, 7-0 over Baker. We're headed into the second quarter. Corey, give me a quick first quarter synopsis of what you've seen tonight so far.
Nick Summerlin, 4 out of 7 for 20 yards completing the football, but he's also been a factor rushing the football, and that's been Baker's so far biggest situation. They were able to hit that tunnel screen right before we went into the quarter.
Right.
So it's just going to boil down to execution here in the second quarter as well.
Execution will be huge here for both teams tonight. This is a region contest. As we said at the top of the broadcast, this is Baker's opening game of the season. Theodore lost last week to Daphne. That run snuffed out Fernando Billups. Nowhere to go. Second down for the Hornets.
Colton Higgins, the 6'1", 194-pound senior, coming from his Sam linebacker position, had 4 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss last week, but there's going to be a flag on the play. It's going to be a face mask called against the Bobcats. So again, that's bonus yardage.
Right.
That's that hidden yardage that can flip the field for the Hornets, and I do believe it's going to be the first time that they're going to be beyond the 50-yard line and into Bobcat territory here in this contest.
You're right about that, Mr. LeBounty. Hornets finally crossed midfield after this personal foul here. Ball placed at about the 46-yard line of Theodore. So let's see if, with the door being slightly open, if opportunity can come forth for the Baker Hornets here and get the offense going.
Well, again, at the beginning on my checklist, they needed to complete passes on the perimeter. If he's able to roll out of the pocket, Summerlin that is, and get anything going, I like Justin Patterson's idea and thinking, and they're having to adjust on the fly as Theodore now that Baker's found some type of offensive rhythm.
Billups with the carry. Picks up maybe 1 or 2 on the play, takes Baker to second down. You're right about that. Patterson coming over for Saraland. We know they had high potent offenses the past couple of years. Had quarterback Jack West, who's at Stanford right now, player of the year, serving in different areas. So we've seen a lot of shifting and moving from the Baker offense, something we haven't seen in the past.
There'll be a 2-yard gain on that play, and you look at Fernando Billups. He's the 5'9", 185-pound senior running back, and it's great to have the tandem of Billups and Pruitt back there in the backfield because these guys have a lot of experience. Big Josh Muhammad, the tight end at 6'2", 225-pound senior on the right side of that offensive line, is shifting in motion now.
Sure is. Stoppage and play right here. And Baker has called timeout, Corey.
They called that timeout because there was about to be a delay of game penalty, and they could not afford to back it up to 3rd down and 13 or 2nd and 13. Now it's going to stay at 2nd and 8.
Okay, parents, it's time to get connected with Parent Connect. Join Carmen Bounds and Paula Reese as they look into district-wide policies that concern your child's and their school. You can catch them weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network. So, Corey, that timeout called right on time, pardon the pun, because the time was about to run out for the Hornets. So, Coach Danny Smith has to burn that timeout. You don't want to go backwards in situations like this.
No, you've already flipped the field and had a little productive offensive drive going with 10:50 remaining here in the second quarter. It's going to be imperative that Baker continues to try to control that line of scrimmage. Coach Smith felt that if they're able to control the line of scrimmage with that offensive line, it's going to make the Bobcats adjust on the fly because you had to go look at Saraland film to know what kind of philosophy Justin Patterson had.
Right.
You had to go look at the film to see what kind of defense J.C. Todd liked to run. So the tendencies you're having to pick up on. So, again, is the glass half full? Is the glass half empty? We'll continue to find out as the contest proceeds.
Second down and long right here for the Hornets. Summerlin in shotgun. Little quick out right there. Cannot connect with Denson. That ball incomplete. It'll be 3rd and long for Baker.
One of those perimeter passes that you would like to see completed as Anthony Phillips is incomplete. Now you're at 3rd down and 8 yards to go in a situation where Nick Summerlin in the past, when the pocket is broken down, he decided to scramble. So you can look for Ham Barnett, the 2nd-year defensive coordinator for the Theodore Bobcats, to go ahead and make sure he puts a spy on Summerlin.
So Muhammad comes out for the Hornets. They're going to bring in all the speed guys right now. Got some shifting and movement, Corey. I know that's going to be a penalty against Baker. Too many guys moving at the same time. We can see that from up here.
3rd down and 8 goes down to 3rd down and 13. So it's definitely gone to a screen situation. We saw Baker convert on 3rd down and 14 moments ago by running that center tunnel screen. And when you're able to have that type of production, you really haven't gone vertical for over 14 or 15 yards. You haven't really taken that vertical shot yet. So everything has been to the perimeter. So any type of screen or swinging out in the backfield or the quarterback Summerlin using his feet have been effective.
Scores coming in right there. Look at that. Robertsdale on top of Blunt, 7-6. And other scores will continue to scroll during the night, and the Bobcats scroll all over Summerlin and bring him down. Corey, I think that's maybe their second sack tonight of Summerlin.
Jaden McCants, the defensive end, 5'10", 195-pound junior, and Mike Washington, the defensive end at 6'2", 210 pounds, are going to get credited for a half a sack each as they were able to sandwich Nick Summerlin in the pocket, and now it's going to bring up the punter, Jacob Tanner, for the Hornets. Deep for the Bobcats will be number 4, Hunter Tillman.
Getting a bit breezy right here at the stadium. Control your papers there, Corey.
Flying everywhere.
Tanner gets that one off. Nice, fine punt right there. Tillman's just going to let the Hornets down it, maybe at about the 8-yard line. So great punt for the Hornets as they flip the field. Let's take a look at these two coaches tonight. We'll put up our coaches comparison. Both of these coaches very well familiar with each other right there. Eric Collier for Theodore in his 6th year. Also served as the Bryant head coach a couple of years ago. Loves to visit Guatemala, Corey. We got to talk to him about that. Maybe it's something going on in the water down there. Who knows? Coach Danny Smith right there. Been at Baker his 4th year, but also he's been an assistant for a long time here, so he's quite familiar with Baker. And I like that, Corey. He builds cornhole boards as a hobby.
I love that hobby. Also this summer, he taught the game of football in Germany. Took a trip over there with a lot of the other coaches and really enjoyed that situation. But a great job of flipping the field did the Baker Hornets just do. Now going to make the Bobcats try to drive the length.
You can see Coach Collier right there pointing like, fellas, go west. And up the middle goes Haywood, Jimmy Haywood going west, close to the first down marker. I believe he does have it. Let's see where they spotted it.
It's going to be a big run. One of the longest runs of the night for the Bobcat offensively, and it gets them out of the danger territory, brings them right up to their own 20-yard line.
Gives them some breathing room, yeah. So ball spotted 1st and 10 at their own 20 in the I formation. Underwood with another handoff to Haywood. As we said earlier, small line for the Bobcats, only averaging 204 across the front, but they're pretty much pushing those Hornets back right now.
1 yard gain on that play. I would give them 1 yard. Looks like it's going to bring up probably 2nd down and 9 yards to go for the Bobcats.
Maybe 8, being a little generous with the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I believe they gave him another yard.
And it's up to Tyler Underwood. Again, he was 9 out of 18 a week ago for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was able to rush the ball 15 times for 58 yards. So if that pocket breaks down, he has the ability to rush the ball also.
Good contingent from both schools out tonight. Hornets fans and Bobcats fans. Weather has not drawn them away. Underwood was out of the pocket, so that's not grounding. That's an incomplete pass. Take the Bobcats to 3rd and long.
Good pressure by defensive end DeAndre Hayes from his defensive end position. 6'1", 195-pound senior. Put Tyler Underwood under distress, made him get rid of that football. Did not allow him a clean passing lane because he was right in his face, and it's hard to complete the football when you have a 200-pound lineman right in your face.
Underwood looking to the sidelines. 10 seconds on the play clock here. We're under 10 now. Trying to connect with Tillman. He has him across the middle. Ball bounces off of his football pads, incomplete, and possibly could have been picked off by Baker. It's 4th down for Theodore.
Yeah, the old tip drill. Hopefully Jalen Lee was going to try to come up under that football, but a great job defensively by the Baker Hornets by flipping the field and only allowing Theodore to pick up 1 first down on that drive. Baker's last drive was 9 plays, but they weren't able to put any points on the board, so they were able to move the football. Now they're going to get excellent field position, going to have to make sure that they secure the football. Jalen Lee is the deep man for the Hornets.
There's the punt from Tillman. Great punt, end over end. Fair catch is called for, and it is granted right there at the 39-yard line. So pretty decent field position right here for the Hornets. They can get things together. 8:24 remaining in the half. Got to thank our folks over there at Jersey Mike's, a sub above, for taking care of us this evening, Corey. Always giving us the good eats, the good food. Jersey Mike's, what can you say? I mean, it is superb, Corey.
Mark and Christina Sinclair, thank you very much. You can visit one of their 3 locations. We just visited the Airport Boulevard location, probably probably 5 minutes away from the school here. They have one on Dolphin Street as well as Malbus, a fourth one to come in Saraland soon. Thank you very much, Jersey Mike's.
Thank you, Jersey Mike's. First down and 10 for the Baker Hornets as the young man is looking on right there, as we are as well. Ball at their own 38, maybe 39-yard line. Pretty good field position right here for the Hornets. Let's see if they can capitalize. Score is only 7-0. There's a little screen out there, and that ball incomplete. Corey hits the ground trying to connect with Anthony Denson. Once again, incomplete pass for the Hornets.
That's one of those quick perimeter passes that Baker must complete in order to establish any type of offensive rhythm, because if that ball is thrown on the money, you look at Anthony Denson Jr., they call him AJ, to be able to turn the ball up, and he had plenty of blue blockers in front of him.
Had the blockers right in front of him, Corey. One of those things, maybe tried to run before he caught the ball. This is Baker's first game, so maybe some jitters going on. Right now, 2nd and 10 for the Hornets.
And I'm with John Vella, who's right next to me. I would like to see Baker offensively stretch the field vertically, possibly once or twice. Haven't really seen them do that yet tonight.
Hornets lined up power I formation, but they called a timeout, and Coach Danny Smith is on the sideline. He is hot, Corey. Looks like they had a wasted opportunity. He is not very pleased with that particular play selection. While we got a break, let's take a look at some of the scores from last week. Last week, we had the LaFleur rain game right there at Ladd. LaFleur on top. Also, the big one over in Pritchard, Viger, and Blunt. We got to thank everyone, social media, on TV. That's our most highly watched game ever we've had, Corey. Huge response from social media on that game, so thank everyone for watching it. Citronelle picks up the big win over Washington County, 44-6 there. MGM gets the first win, so there's no offer for the Vikings this season, 14-0 over Robertsdale. The close one in Daphne, we talked about it. Theodore loses that, 16-13. Davidson went up the road to Meridian. They didn't have their starting quarterback, Tim Johnson. They hung close, but they lost that one 21-13. And also Baldwin County gets that win over Murphy. We still have a break. Let's try to get up the 7A standings right now in the region. McGill-Tulane has a win right there. Mary Montgomery overall 1-0. So no one in the region play. Pretty much starts tonight. As you can see, the records, Fairhope and Murphy right there. And also Baker and Bryant had no games last week. Bryant did play a scrimmage against Williamson, but that game did not count. And Davidson, Foley, and Theodore all came out on the losing end. 8 minutes remaining here in the first half. Josh Pruitt around the edge coming toward us here, and knocked out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. They're going to call that a late hit, Corey.
Yeah, that's definitely a personal foul. You're leading with the crown of your helmet in that situation. And again, Josh Pruitt is a multiple athlete. He just started running track. He does the long and triple jump. May play a little basketball this season, something he hasn't done since his sophomore year. And because of it, again, he has interest from Cornell, Columbia, Army, Navy, the Citadel. I want to say this over and over again tonight, folks. In the MCPSS school system, they have athletes and academics, because this young man has a 4.5 GPA.
That is huge, and also that is a monumental task right there. So congratulations to him for doing that. But Corey, also the Hornets receiving 15 yards tacked on top of that big run by Pruitt. So what an impact he's having. And that penalty right there, not the impact Coach Collier wants.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to cost you. That's the second one tonight that I think has been of the 15-yard variety. And because of it, you know, that gives up 30 yards. Now the Baker Hornets are in their deepest territory of the Bobcats that they've been all night long.
Close to the red zone, ball at about the 26-yard line. Give it back to him again. Let him run the rock. Josh Pruitt up the middle behind that big line. Picks up maybe 2 or 3. Let's go down the sidelines to check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Hey guys, like you were saying earlier, Baker has just been waiting for that little spark to get them started and to really get this game started for them. And we may have seen that just a moment ago. But what we really need to notice about these teams, when I asked the coaches before the game, I said, what separates these two teams? And both of the coaches said, I really feel like our teams are very mirrored of each other. I feel like we have a great even playing field. So it's really about who just comes out tonight, is ready to play football, and plays it the best with the least amount of mistakes.
Here, Kimberly around the edge. Josh Pruitt goes. Another flag on the play. This one might be coming back there, Corey.
Looks like it's going to be a holding as Mike Washington, from his defensive end position for the Bobcats, 6'2", 210-pound senior, was able to go ahead and keep in containment. And because of it, the offensive lineman couldn't do anything with it because of the deep penetration that he was able to get, and looks like it's going to put the Baker Hornets in reverse.
Well, they call false start. That false start decline. Wow.
So no holding
Wasn't a
on the
hold.
play. They're going to call false start, and it's going to bring up, looks like, a 3rd down and 11 situation for the Hornets, and it's going to be important for Baker right here to get something going because they're in Bobcat territory.
Bunch line right there. Little play action they're running. Had a man. That ball kind of comes up short, Corey. The pass from Summerlin looked like he short-armed it a bit there.
And if we have an opportunity, I'll tell you exactly why it was short arm, because he had a defender. He could not step into his throw. He saw that pressure and did not want to take that hit, because if he would have taken that hit, he probably would have been laid out if he would have stepped into it. And in that situation, he just short-armed it, and because of it, it's going to bring up 4th down and 10. It was a good play call. In this situation, being right at the 27-yard line, if you're the Hornets of the Bobcats, you go ahead and go for this because it would be like a 42-yard field goal.
All right, let's put a mark on it. 4th down and long, 7:02 remaining in the second quarter. Can Baker convert? Summerlin rolls out. He's trying to find someone running for his life. That ball incomplete, so ball over on down to Theodore. Let's take a look at the statistics on the first quarter right here, Corey, as they're coming in right there. Rushing yards, 58 for Theodore. And for Baker, pretty much we know where those rushing yards came from, pretty much the most part from Nick Summerlin.
It was a 5-play, 62-yard drive that opened up the game. It only took 2 minutes and 6 seconds for the Bobcats to score, but that's all they've needed offensively so far. They don't have any passing yards, 58 total yards, and the turnover battle is equal.
It's equal.
You look at the Baker Hornets having 34 total yards of offense, and again, 1 penalty for 5 yards. Let's see what Theodore is able to do here on 1st and 10.
Just under 7 minutes right here remaining in the first half. The game has kind of been played between maybe the 30s tonight, Corey. Withstanding that first drive Theodore put up, that is the closest either teams have gotten to the end zone tonight. So we've pretty much been playing between the 30s so far, and Theodore pretty much has been in control. Probably could have an extended lead due to penalties and situations where they didn't capitalize. Only up 7-0 right now.
Devontae Washington, the 5'7", 185-pound senior on the rush. Now the Bobcats are going quickly with a quick toss.
They do get that handout right there. Picked up a couple yards. Devontae Washington on the run for Theodore. But that takes them to 3rd down. So maybe the Baker Hornet defense trying to hold right here.
And as Mark Jackson on ESPN would say, "Mama, there's that man." Terrell Crane, one of the impact players, the linebacker at 5'11", 200-pound senior, makes an outstanding tackle.
3rd and about 7. We'll call it a long 6 right here for Theodore. Underwood drops back, trying to escape. Baker all over him. A lot of people calling for the hold, saying it should be a hold on the play. No flags come in, and that ball incomplete. So the Baker defense does hold, takes it to 3rd down.
It's a good job of Underwood extending the play as Kelvin Myers-Rogers from his linebacker bandit position, 6'1", 202-pound senior, was able to get in his face and put pressure on him.
So at 5:39, that's a official dead ball, of course. So you know what that means. It's a heat timeout. So we're going to take it down to the sidelines and check with Kimberly Dunn. I think she has a special guest.
I do have an extra special guest right here, a former Baker principal, Clem Richardson. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great. I'm pulling for the Hornets as always.
Of course. Now, I mentioned it when we began the game. This stadium recently got named after yours truly. What kind of impact, what kind of feels did that give you?
Well, it's truly an honor, and I'm humbled by it. Baker's been my life. I graduated from here in 1974. I taught here 17 years. I was a principal for 15. I met my wife at Baker. She's my high school sweetheart. My kids went to Baker, so I bleed blue and white. So it's truly an honor to have this stadium named after me.
That's such a wonderful thing. Now, what does it feel like coming back here tonight and just being a fan?
Well, I'm still nervous because I always pull for the Hornets, but I've been talking to Mr. Prue, the new principal, and he's doing a great job. And we were great friends. He was the middle school principal, and we worked together and made sure everything was aligned. So Baker's in good hands, and my family's here just enjoying the game.
Well, thank you so much for taking just a few minutes and speaking with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kimberly. You can call him Mr. Baker. I'm going to say Clem Richardson had a little luck there for the Baker defense as they tipped that punt, Corey.
Looks like Jonathan Chapman, the 5'8", 175-pound junior, was able to find a way to get in between that wedge that Theodore was trying to able to create on special teams, and that's one of those hidden special play teams that changes the game. Right here, you're right at the 37-yard line of the Bobcats. You're almost right back to where you were, but You're right, Al. The game has been played in between the 30s with the 30-yard line markers, with the exception of that first drive by the Theodore Bobcats. And right now, you can open up the playbook if you're offensive coordinator for the Baker Hornets and Justin Patterson.
The quick handoff right there. Up the middle goes the run. Kobe Bush only called his name maybe 2 times tonight, but Bush with a big run for the first down, and Baker is inside the red zone.
That's the third back that we've seen touch the football tonight for the Baker Hornets. That's 5'9", 180-pound senior. That's his first rush of the night. You also had Joshua Pruitt and Fernando Billups toting the pigskin for the Hornets, but that's one of the things when you have 96 players that you dress out, depth starts to become a factor sooner or later, fresh bodies, and again, this is the Hornets' first contest of the year.
That's right. Little quick handoff on the jet sweep right there to DeMarquez Williams. He maybe gets 1 or 2. And Corey, we can think about last year. Baker kind of had a quarterback by committee situation. At times you had Billups playing quarterback, Pruitt playing quarterback, but now you got the junior Summerlin and you got a new OC. So maybe it might be turning the page on moving this offense a little better for the Hornets.
And that's huge. I mean, DeMarquez Williams, that's the second time tonight we've seen the jet sweep being run. But the thing is, he at least got 1 positive yard out of it. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 9 from, looks like right at the 24-yard line, 23-yard line of the Bobcats.
Just outside of the red zone. Picking his way through right there. Kobe Bush once again on the carry. It takes the Hornets the 3rd down, ball at about the 19-yard line. Corey, we're approaching 4 minutes. Huge play call right here for Baker.
A tag team tackle by Cedric Coleman and Demouy Kennedy on the play, but it does bring up 3rd down and probably about 6 yards to go for the Baker Hornets. So with 3:50 remaining here in the second quarter, you probably, if you're not able to pick up the 1st down, you at least want to try to get to the 15-yard line, which will bring up maybe a 37-yard field goal.
The quick handoff to Bush. They are feeding him the rock. He's close to the yard marker to get the 1st down. Let's see where they spot the ball here, if it'll be enough. Alan Doohy walks in. He does not put up 1st down. It is 4th down. Big play right here, Corey, as we approach 3 minutes remaining. 3rd and about 1. I'm sorry, 4th down and about 1. Flag on the play.
And if that's against the Hornets, that's going to be huge, because now you go from 4th and 1 to 4th and 6. Right. And if against the Bobcats, it automatically gives Baker a 1st down.
Baker clapping right now.
Offsides.
Wow.
That's something that's just mental, and I know it's going to absolutely drive defensive coordinator Ham Barnett and head coach Eric Collier bonkers over there on the sidelines. Look like the ball is now going to be spotted at the 8-yard line of the Theodore Bobcats. 1st down and goal to go.
You called the Corey offside, so that was a big gift that Theodore just gave to Baker. Summerlin runs out on the field with the rest of his teammates. Play clock approaching 15 seconds here, and we're under 3 minutes in the first half. Don't forget Chick-fil-A halftime trivia coming up. We'll have the bands featured as well. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, and Kobe Bush right there on your screen running up the middle, picks up a couple maybe into the 4-yard line.
And the Hornets have found something in that offensive line, because they've had success running behind Big Jackson Martin, as well as when Rostro, the 6'2", 320-pound senior. And that's just, when you have a 320-pound offensive lineman,
oh, yeah,
you want to find the beef and run behind the beef, and that's exactly what the Hornets have been able to do.
Ben Rostro says his game reminds people of Zach Martin. big offensive lineman there for the Cowboys. First and goal. They've pretty much been successful right here with Kobe Bush on this series, Corey. They're keeping him in the game. We have not seen Josh Pruitt or Fernando Billups so far.
Good tackle by Colton Higgins coming from his linebacker Sam position. And another tackle for Higgins. He's been active tonight, and it's going to be about 3rd down and goal to go from exactly the 5-yard line, it looks like, on the down yard.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it a long 5, about 4.5, and the clock's at 1:40. Another big play here for the Hornets. They try to get it out, and that ball is intercepted by Theodore. On the interception for Theodore, A.J. Braxton.
A.J. Braxton, the 5'11", 170-pound senior from his cornerback position, was able to pick off Summerlin, and Summerlin was looking for the receiver in the corner of the end zone, didn't throw it far enough and kind of eyed him down, but nonetheless, it's going to be at the 20-yard line, a turnover in the red zone. May come back to haunt the Baker Hornets because they had a nice drive going due to penalty yards and rushing the football with multiple backs. Now Theodore has a chance with 1:28 here to try to score before the half.
Try to get that ball out the bush there. They pretty much ran the whole series with him, Corey, and Braxton right there to intercept it. So Theodore can try to get this one on the board right quick or just play a little time control and keep the ball away and pick up a 1st down. And you need to do that by giving it to Jimmy Haywood. The big guy runs it up the middle. He picks up maybe 4 or 5 yards. Let's take a live look in at Bryan and Davidson right now. Davidson on top 17-0 over Bryan. Coach Doug Hone and the Hurricanes down there trying to hold off the Warriors. Second quarter for Davidson and Bryan, just as we have here. Clock is at 1 minute remaining in the first half. And Underwood taking his time, smart move right there, Corey. All he has to do is let the clock be his ally. Hand off once again to Haywood. And he appears to have picked up the 1st down. So if they mark this as a 1st down, that pretty much will probably bring the quarter to a close.
As soon as they stop the clock to spot the ball and move the chains, the clock will start going again with 42.4 seconds remaining as we're winding the clock now. And Jimmy Haywood has 7 rushing attempts for about 53 yards so far. A lot of that coming on his first longest run of 30-something to begin the game.
Little toss to Haywood right there. He's got plenty of room. He stays in bounds. Picks up another 1st down as he continues to run the ball for Theodore very successfully in this series. Theodore basically playing keep away after they got that interception by A.J. Braxton.
Tall sweep on that play, and Haywood is able to stay in bounds as there's going to be 15 seconds remaining, and it looks like the Bobcats aren't going to take a knee right here. They're going to try to run one more play before the quarter ends.
Airing it out, does have a man, and the legs get wrapped up, and no penalty is called on the play. Trying to catch up with Zach Workman. 0.3 seconds remain on the clock, Corey.
0.3 of a second remaining is going to bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go from their own 41 for the Bobcats. And if you're in Baker's situation, you're in your prevent defense. If you're Coach Collier, you're probably just saying, all right, I've already turned the ball over once. I'm in the shotgun situation. I don't have to take a knee, but I just don't want to turn the ball over right here.
That's called hand it off to Haywood and let him run and let the clock run out and take it to halftime. Right up the middle, Haywood goes. And that'll take us to halftime, Corey. Right now, Theodore on top 7-0 over Baker. Interesting first half that we've seen right there. The majority of the half pretty much between the 30s. As I said, only one score on the board so far, and that's Theodore 7-0. And that was the first drive. It seems like it was hours ago.
One of the biggest things was for Theodore to start early. That's exactly what happened. They scored the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the contest, and here we are at halftime, 7-0 out.
2 interceptions for Nick Summerlin for Baker right there, and Baker also picked up a fumble recovery from Theodore. So it has been an interesting first half, almost all the excitement in the first quarter on that first drive from the Bobcats, but then it was just ball between the 30s and maybe some penalties and just some 3 and outs, and also we saw some 4th down turnover, ball on downs as well.
The thing is, though, Al, it remained dry in the first half. The field was slippery, but we didn't have any precipitation coming down throughout the first half. We'll have to see how that materializes in the second half to see if weather is a factor.
Also see if those Hornet hooligans are going to get riled up. Corey, I haven't heard them. I know they're here. I look down there and I see them, but I haven't heard them very much. The house is packed tonight on both sides. Let's take it down to the sidelines and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Okay. How do you feel about your team's performance so far tonight, Coach?
Well, we came out and played fast, which is something we hadn't done in the past. But, we got out early. But, again, they're making a game of it. They're running the football. They're controlling the line of scrimmage right now. That worries me because I know late in the game that can be a big problem for us.
So what does your team need to improve on when they come back from this half?
The main thing was got to get them cleaned up on their fits and make sure we're not looking at motion and all those type things. So if we can get their eyes fixed and get them back to working on the things we've worked on, we'll be fine.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Theodore up 7-0 at halftime. We'll be back with more action. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Hello, my name is Abby Dinkins. My children go to E.R. Dixon Elementary School. The education that my kids are getting, it's tremendous. There's one time that I thought about homeschooling my kids because I wasn't sure, we're new here. And when I enroll my children at the public school, and I'm just blown away because the teachers are nice, the curriculum itself is different. I believe in Mobile County Public School education for preparing my children for life.
To be inside of the advanced placement program means that you are a student whose primary goal is to go to college. And being in the advanced placement makes that so much more real for those students who are inside of it.
I feel that students shouldn't be scared to go into being an AP scholar because it's not how smart you are and it's not like your GPA, it's how much work you put into your classes and how much you are dedicated to your classes.
It is halftime at the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top 7-0. Let's take it down to the field and enjoy the sounds of the Theodore High School Marching Bobcat Band. Gotta go. Bubba, you back?
Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, we proudly present the Pride of Baker High School marching band. The 2018 edition of the Pride of Baker is entitled The Machine, and it features the music of J.S. Fox, Philip Glass, John Yackey, and the tune Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Tonight's featured duets are on alto saxophone, Carson General and Carson Rhodes. Tonight's soloists are on mellophone, Nathan Ledbetter, on trombone, Josh Walker. Drum majors, Isabel Ferguson, Carl Whiting, and Jasmine Dillard. Is your band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Pride of Baker High School marching band.
That's the sound of the Pride of Baker marching band as we're at halftime here for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We'll be back shortly with more action. Matter of fact, third quarter action. Don't move.
As Alabama's first and largest school system, Mobile County Public Schools prides itself
on the high quality of education we provide our students.
We have been successful over the years in raising our graduation rates
and have been recognized nationally for closing achievement gaps.
We believe that our primary focus is to educate all students to become productive citizens.
This is our commitment to them and to you.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
Hello, I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm in the Health Service Academy at John L. LaFleur Magnet High School. My future career is to be an obstetrician gynecologist. With this academy, I'm learning firsthand from people already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job really makes me want to study hard and work harder towards my career goals.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. Visit mcpss.com.
As Alabama's first and largest school system, Mobile County Public Schools prides itself
on the high quality of education we provide our students.
We have been successful over the years in raising our graduation rates
and have been recognized nationally for closing achievement gaps.
We believe that our primary focus is to educate all students to become productive citizens.
This is our commitment to them and to you.
I'm Ashley Rich, District Attorney. Today I want to talk to you about a program that we at the District Attorney's Office has with the Mobile County Public School Systems to help with the bullying issues that are going on in today's world because of social media and because our young people think it's okay to bully others. It's not okay to bully others. Bullying is repeated verbal and physical abuse, ongoing verbal and physical abuse. We at the Mobile County District Attorney's Office want to help the community, we want to help the public school system, and we want to stop bullying within our community. It's really, really important that we do so. And parents need to be responsible if their child is either being bullied or if their child is a bully. Parents need to be involved to stop the bullying or to help the child if they are being bullied. And we at the Mobile County District Attorney's Office and the Mobile County Public School System are also here to help.
It is halftime here, and Theodore is on top 7-0 over Baker. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corley Bounty. Down on the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. And Corey, down on the field, it's been some interesting play in the first half.
Yeah, our score is 7-0, Al. And if you look at the total yards of offense, there's only 7 yards separating the two teams. As you look at the rushing yards being at 66 for Baker and 97 yards for Theodore. Passing yards, absolutely 0 on the board for Theodore. 18 passing yards for Baker. 97 total yards for Theodore, 84 for Baker. 2 turnovers. The difference right here was the opening drive that was established by the Theodore Bobcats. It was a 5-play, 64-yard touchdown drive that was early in the first quarter with 2:04 just running off of the clock. And that's been the difference because both teams has really felt one another out. And it's so very important when you also look at Jimmy Haywood, the running back for Theodore. He has 9 rushes for 70 yards, but Tyler Underwood has only passed for -5 yards. Excuse me, for 5 yards. That's why they have that 0 there. You also have Nick Summerlin, the quarterback at Baker. He's 4 out of 12 for 20 yards. Kobe Bush came in late in the second quarter, had 5 rushes for 27 yards. Joshua Pruitt, 8 rushes for 19 yards. But again, the total offensive yardage is very, very close between the two teams, as well as our score here at halftime.
You're right about that. Also, don't forget those 2 interceptions by Summerlin that went against Baker. But also, I'm going to talk about the impact that Kobe Bush did coming in for that last series for the Hornets. Kind of gave them a lift. We didn't see Josh Pruitt on the field at all. They just kept giving the rock to Bush over and over and had a good situation going until that interception that Summerlin threw to A.J. Braxton.
Yeah, I think it's a situation now that they would love to have that red zone opportunity back.
Yeah.
Summerlin threw that interception into the end zone, which could have led to any points, a field goal or a field goal attempt. Again, this is Baker's first game of the year, as they had a bye last week and were able to watch the Bobcats take on the Trojans of Daphne. So again, I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, half full, half empty. Danny Smith right now has to feel very comfortable with where his Baker Hornet team is. Even though they haven't put any points on the board, they've done a good job holding this Bobcat team down.
Speaking of Baker, let's revisit your checklist you had for the Baker Hornets, and let's see how they're maintaining what you put on the board earlier in the ballgame.
They must have had that stinging, stingy defense, which they did after the first offensive drive by the Bobcats, because they haven't given up anything. The front 7 of the Baker Hornets is the strength defensively. Also, Baker has to sustain long drives offensively and complete passes on the perimeter. They really haven't been able to do that with a lot of success, and they need to control the box up front, which is essentially the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. You look at the rushing yards for Baker, they have 64 rushing yards. Theodore has 86, and because of it, again, our score is only 7-0. Let's look conversely for the Theodore Bobcats and my checklist for Eric Collier. They wanted to start fast early, and Coach Collier talked about it with Kimberly on the sidelines going to the half. Exactly what the doctor ordered in that situation. They had to figure out on the fly. The new offensive and defensive coordinators both added to Danny Smith's staff in the spring, and they've been able to do that. But again, Baker turns the ball over in the red zone area, and Theodore needed to show special teams improvement. Well, they had one punt that was blocked inside the 20, which led to great Baker field position, but the Hornets weren't able to capitalize on that. And because of it, again, our halftime score is 7-0. I look for a great battle here in the second half in West Mobile. The Hornet hooligans, they're sitting on their hands right now, waiting to explode. It's just going to take that one big play to get this press box area rocking where you and I are sitting atop of. But again, the Hornets will receive the ball to start the second half. Let's see what they were able to talk about at halftime and get established.
There's a look at the hooligans right there. They have been very quiet tonight. It's a packed house. This weather has pretty much dissipated. The rain hasn't entered into the picture at all. Before the game, it was a lot of rain, and you commented on it earlier, Corey. The field is drained pretty well for the most part. We did see a couple maybe situations where there could have been some slippery ball movement, handoff. We saw Summerlin fall down one time, even Underwood fall down one time as well. Right now, let's take it down to the sidelines. I believe Kimberly Dunn has Baker head coach Danny Smith with her.
Coach, what was the atmosphere like in the locker room?
You know, the guys are very upbeat. They're excited. They think we're going to win this game in the second half. You know, we started off a little slow in the first quarter and the speed of the game, and we got caught up with them. I thought we had all the momentum in the world going in the second quarter, going into halftime, got down in the red zone. Unfortunately, had a pick, but I like we're all right now.
All right, so what does your team need to do in order to pull off this win tonight?
You know, we just got to keep grinding. Don't give up the big play. That's one of the things we talked about. And we got to win up front. You know, we got some things. It's hard to get on the edge on them because they got a lot of speed. We're going to come back and try to get right at them, you know, and play action. We're going to take a couple shots deeper in the second half and see what happens.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Kimberly. Coach Danny Smith remaining positive right there, saying we can't give up. We have to keep going. Baker and Theodore have met 52 times over the year, and Theodore completely controls this series 43-8. Right now they're in control 7-0, Corey.
The last time this Baker offense was shut out was last September 15th, and Baker all time in this decade is 0-70 when scoring less than 10 points. So it's going to be instrumental that they put some points on the board here as we start the second half. Next week, the Theodore Bobcats will travel and play, we'll have a home game against Foley.
Okay.
And conversely, Baker will take on Davidson at Ladd Stadium.
It's all about region play right now. We said it earlier. Class 7A Region 1. This is a 9-team region. It is week 2, and we're in region play already. Kickoff right there goes to the back, almost to the end. I believe it's going to go through the end zone for a touchback. Corey almost kind of checked up there like a little 60-degree wedge, but the touchback for the Hornets. They'll get the ball. 1st and 10 right here in the third quarter.
And it's going to be important now for, again, they had running back by committee, Joshua Pruitt. When he gets the ball and is able to stretch the ball to the outside and bounce it to the outside, to the perimeter, that's where they've been able to have success with his speed. But again, when you have a 320-pound right guard and you have a 250-pound left guard, that Dalton Lehman is the center, doing a good job for the Hornets so far. They've only had that one unfortunate pass that was intercepted early, but let's see if they can maintain momentum here early in the third quarter.
Feels really good right now, not as windy as it was in the second quarter, and thank goodness we even have our monitor back right here atop the press box so we can see some of the action as well. Josh Pruitt calling his name first time in the second half, picks up maybe a couple, maybe 1 or 2 there, takes Baker to second down.
Second down and 9 yards to go for the Hornets. They come out trying to establish that line of scrimmage, and we mentioned that's one of Danny Smith's keys. He feels that they have to control the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage against this Ham Barnett defense.
Pruitt, the long back in the backfield there for Baker. Going to fake that handoff to him, get it to Anthony Phillips, and Corey, he slips down on the turf. Field does appear as if it's drained well, but he definitely slipped right there. Had opportunity to turn the corner.
It's just those blades of grass that wound up making the tackle as he tried to turn north and south. Besides going east and west, it was going to be a situation as we look at the instant replay. He comes on the sweep, and as he starts to turn that corner, he's going to have probably a 7-yard loss on the play, going to bring up 3rd down and 16 yards to go for the Hornets.
Big loss right there, as you mentioned. Summerlin back there with Pruitt in the backfield. Dumps it off to him. No, that ball incomplete, Corey. So that's a 3-and-out right there for Baker. Not the way Danny Smith wanted to start the second half.
Justin Patterson earlier in the first half, we saw on 3rd down and 14 for him to run that screen play, and he almost tried to set it up identical as he did earlier, and Pruitt was not able to squeeze that pigskin, and it's going to make punter Jacob Tanner, the 5'8", 160-pound junior, come and put toe to leather.
Hunter Tillman sets up right about the 50-yard line right in front of us right here at the Baker press box. Tanner has his foot on the goal line, Corey, so crucial that he connects to get this punt off cleanly. Gets a nice kick right there. Tillman fills it about the 45-yard line and steps out of bounds. Let's take a look at the 7A state poll brought to you by the Alabama Sports Writers Association. Get that pulled up on the screen here. On top, Hoover is #1. Pretty much the poll pretty much you could say remains the same right there. McGill-Tulane #4. They had their win last week over Spanish Fort. Down there receiving votes, if you notice at the bottom, Theodore, they did lose last week, Corey. They still picked up 8 votes to get into the poll. So a lot of people are still respecting the Bobcats here this season.
Yeah, Eric Collier knows that McGill-Tulane is the team to beat, but in this 7A Region 1, any given night, anybody can be beaten. You're going to have to bring your A game as the Bobcats take over at their own 48-yard line.
Led by senior quarterback Tyler Underwood, their first opportunity here in the second half. They're going to resume what they did in the first half. His name is Jimmy Haywood, forced out of bounds at about the 46-yard line.
Pushed out of bounds by Jalen Lee, the 5'9", 160-pound senior, but not before gaining up probably close to 5 or 6 yards on the play.
There's a 6A top 10 poll from week 1. Not very much changing. We know Spanish Fort lost, but that loss was to McGill. McGill's a 7A team. This is a 6A team, so not much effect there. Right there, #6, we have Saraland, local team, also picking up votes. St. Paul's and Baldwin County had the big win last week as well, and Daphne picked up a vote or 2. A little end around action there for Theodore, making it happen for them on the carry. Zach Workman takes it around the end, and Fernando Billups on the tackle. Let's take a look at the 5A poll. We were right there for the Battle of Viger with Blunt and Viger last week, so Viger remains number 3 in the state. Jackson also, that's a region team, Corey. They haven't played a game yet. Also, keep your eye out from other teams as well from the area. Satsuma picks up a couple votes to get into the poll, 2 votes as they enter 5A. They were a 4A team last year. New coach Ray Nelson, Corey.
Viger has a bye this week, so they're going to sit back and wait and kind of get a chance to get better. Devontae Washington with the carry. Picks up some yards, maybe enough to get the first down. Let's see if they'll move the sticks here. Take a look at the 4A poll from the state. Week 1 as well. UMS Wright still on top right there. They had the big win over St. Paul's last week. Also, if you look way down at the bottom right there, but Corey, they didn't play last week. They had a little scrimmage against Alma Bryant. Williamson picks up 1 vote in the state poll. And they're playing another non-region contest tonight at Ladd Stadium against the LaFleur Rattlers. Speaking of it, Corey, look at it. You called it up as LaFleur and Williamson right now, and Williamson on top 14-0 over the Rattlers. Back to action right here. Washington on the move, cuts up the middle, takes the ball to about the 25-yard line. Theodore has found a strength in running the rock tonight, Corey. And that's important, and there's going to be an injury on the play. It looks like Terrell Crane, who's one of our impact players, is going to be down on the play for the Hornets as the trainers will be tended to him now. Yeah, that would be a significant loss if he goes out of the game, kind of pulling at his hamstring. Maybe it could be a cramp. It is still early in the season. We're still going to recognize heat timeouts, the first dead ball under 6 minutes. Hopefully it's not a serious injury or anything, so we're going to let the trainers look at him and take a break right here. Right now, take a look at Region 1 standings for the teams in 6A right here in the region. Region play hasn't opened pretty much for the most of them, so last week they were kind of playing out of region. Baldwin County, Daphne, and Saraland all picked up a win. And, of course, if you look right there, the rest of the region lost last week, so quite an interesting week last week. Couple surprises and a couple not-so-surprises last week in 6A. Yeah, you have Blunt and Robertsdale getting after one another tonight in that huge region game, and St. Paul's is traveling to St. Stanislaus in Mississippi, so they're playing a non-region game. And, you know, Daphne and Spanish Fort, those 2 teams are going to try to battle it out, and that's always an early matchup that has playoff implications. Rain and Saraland going at it tonight as well, and Blunt and Robertsdale looks like possibly Corinne getting up and coming off the field. We'll switch to 5A Region 1 standings right here as we get ready to wrap this break up. Citronelle, Faith Academy, LaFleur all picked up wins along with Satsuma and Viger last week. Had that big one against Blunt. We were there in Pritchard for that, and Wilcox Central took a loss last week. Jackson did not play, but they are in battle tonight, so that's 5A Region 1. Crane does walk off on his own power, Corey, so we'll take it. It was a first down play, so we'll take it a first down here for the Bobcats. That's a good sign for Baker that he was able to do so within his own power, but Theodore really trying to get started fast early here in the third quarter as they kind of dominated so far on this particular drive. Playing behind Crane is Tristan Ransom, so we'll see if they may find it as a weak spot, or it could be a strength for the Hornets with him coming in. 8:42 remaining in the third quarter. Flag on the play. Alan Duhey sorting it out with the rest of the crew. Sorry, Alan Duhan, and that is offsides against Baker. 5-yard gift from the Hornets. Duhan and his crew doing a wonderful job tonight out here in front of the Hornet hooligans, and now it's going to bring up a situation now behind the first down marker. First down and 5 yards to go. Little pitch out to Devontae Washington. He has the edge, Corey, turns it up, gets it to about the 10-yard line. Great run by Washington. And Bobcats are moving into Hornet territory, and they're continuing to move, running the rock. Good job of setting the edge was this offensive line, as you just mentioned, by the Bobcats. And because of it, it looks like it's going to be close to a first down and goal-to-go situation. It is going to be first down and goal-to-go at the Hornet 9-yard line. 8:09 remaining in the third quarter. Interesting, Theodore scored on their first drive in the first quarter. Possibly could be scoring on their first drive in the third quarter. So let's see what pans out right here.
Power I formation, handoff to Jimmy Haywood. Up the middle he goes behind that 204-yard average offensive line. Picks up maybe one or two. Take it a 2nd and goal.
Haywood, again, listed at 5'9", 190 pounds, has done a wonderful job toting the rock so far, and he had 9 rushes for 70 yards at halftime and now has 10 rushes for 76 yards in tonight's contest.
Cameron Brown enters the ball game for the Baker Hornets, playing in that linebacker position, replacing Cameron Beck. Underwood looks to the sideline. Under 10 seconds remains on the play clock. 5, 4, 3, 2. They get the snap off. Back to Haywood. Corey, he has the corner. Can he make the turn? But no, just called his name. Cameron Brown in and makes that tackle.
That's a big play. Looks like by Fernando Billups on the stop, coming from his free safety position, 5'9", 185-pound senior. And if he's able to turn this corner, Haywood, it's going to be 6 for the Bobcats, but great speed and the ability to grab the shirt tail and get him down by any means necessary. 3rd down and goal to go for the Bobcats.
Great check there, Corey. Also, Billups plays on offense as well. And we're taking a timeout right now. Coach Eric Collier playing the chess match, 6:36, 3rd down. Let's take a timeout because you know at the next dead ball, he will get a free heat timeout. So we'll take a break as well. We'll come back, more action. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. You are watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top 7-0 and driving to try to get another score. It is 3rd and goal right here at the Baker Hornets field. Corey, 6:36 remains in the 3rd quarter. I talked about it earlier. Theodore scored the ball with their first possession in the 1st quarter, and right now it's their first possession in the 3rd quarter. Maybe the odd numbers are in their favor tonight.
And that's very important. I mean, right here, we saw Baker in the red zone earlier, unable to capitalize. Special teams being a factor right here. 3rd down and goal to go, coming out of a timeout situation for the Bobcats. Let's see what offensive coordinator Justin Ridgway has up his sleeve.
Jet sweep, Hunter Tillman on the sweep. But no, it is a pass. That pass complete. That's a touchdown to Traylon Martin. Touchdown for the Theodore Bobcats.
A lovely trickeration play as we thought it was going to be a jet sweep. The defense fell for the eye candy, did not stay at home, and because of it, Traylon Martin was able to slip behind the defense. As we take a look at it, you look at Hunter Tillman, he's going to throw his first touchdown pass of the season from his wide receiver position. 6 points, trying to tack on 7 are the Bobcats.
Marcos Lynn's point after attempt is blocked by Baker. So let's take a mark right there. 13-0, Theodore on top. All right, 6:34, Corey. It's time for the Game of the Week brain buster while we have a break right here. Let's see what the crack staff crew has come up with this week. What former Baker head football coach has also served as the athletic director for the Mobile County Public School System?
You know, I have to get those neurons firing.
Get them fired, Corey.
To answer this question. And, I'm not a science or biology major, but I think they're called neurons. And that's what I'm going to go with. If anybody in the listening audience can correct me, please do so.
All right, we'll have the answer revealed shortly, but there's your brain buster question right there. What former Baker head coach has also served as the athletic director for the Mobile County Public School System? Now, do you want to phone your friend or use one of your lifelines, or you think you got a pretty good guess?
I feel good about this one.
We'll find out later. Let's see how Corey will come out. So Theodore gets the quick touchdown right there at the 6:34 mark. Nice little toss pass from Tillman over to Martin. So 13-0 is the score right now. That timeout was a benefit to the Bobcats. Maybe they discussed some things on the sideline, Corey, to come up with that trick play.
And again, neurons is a cell which is part of the nervous system. Neurons send messages to and from the brain, Al.
Boy, you and that internet are something else. You are something else. Here's the kickoff. Looks like we have on the run back for Baker Anthony Phillips. He's finally brought down by the Bobcats. They're going to mark it maybe about the 27, 28-yard line.
And it's going to be important for the Baker Hornets to answer that score in the red zone area by the Theodore Bobcats, because the difference in this game is Baker was in the red zone area and threw an interception, and that interception was returned earlier by A.J. Braxton to the 20-yard line, and the Bobcats took over. But right now, with 6:23 remaining, we know the Hornets will have a heat timeout coming out underneath the 6-minute mark.
Right.
But hopefully right here they'll be able to, again, string together a long set of downs and move the sticks, because that's very important and part of my checklist.
I'm going to say this is probably one of the most important series tonight for Baker. And they're giving that ball back to Kobe Bush, kind of like they finished off the second half there, let him run up the middle, gain some more yards.
And they found something with that delayed draw up the middle by the Hornets. They've had a lot of success, so with 6 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, Baker gets positive yards on first down.
Fullback Derek Nobles checks into the game right now for the Hornets. And there's the heat timeout at 5:53. Referee Alan Duhan calls for it. And Corey, I must say, this is one of those odd situations tonight. Humidity's not really there for the heat timeout, but we're going to take it. It's a little breezy, so since it's breezy, let's just float on down to the sideline and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
That was very smooth, Al, very smooth. I was able to get an update on the injury that we had with number 10 for these Baker Hornets, and it was indeed a hamstring injury, and they spent a lot of time trying to stretch that thing out, stretching both legs out, trying to get it working. He was running up and down on the sidelines trying to stretch it out. Ultimately, they ended up having to wrap it up, and he said that he is going to try to get back out on this field and help his team out.
All right, Kimberly, right there on the scene. Terrell Crane, hopefully we're getting back in the game, Corey. So we have the heat timeout. I believe we're going to reveal the answer to the Brain Buster, doing a little quick work. So I don't know if your internet, how quick it's working there, but we're going to try to get that back up for the Game of the Week Brain Buster. We just revealed the question to you shortly ago, so we'll get it back up and see if we can give you the answer. So here it is. What former Baker head coach, football coach, has also served as the athletic director for the Mobile County Public School System? Would you like to render a guess, Corey?
Yes, I'm going to say it's one who was on the camera earlier.
Aha!
And that was Clem Richardson. That's my answer.
You're right about that. Clem Richardson, former Baker principal, also served as athletic director and was the Baker head coach, as you saw for a time right there from 1991 to 1997. And Mobile County Public School System athletic director from 2001 to 03. We have a penalty on the play. I believe that would be grounding, Corey.
I don't think it was.
Summerlin was in the pocket, but you don't think it was?
No. I personally didn't think it was grounding because you had your tight end, Josh Muhammad, in the area, and that's what Baker's sidelines is sitting there screaming. So he's going to wave it off, and that's a good call by Alan Duhan because there was a tight end in the area, even though the Bobcat defense was flooding the passing lanes and got all in Nick Summerlin's face. I like the fact that they were able to get that correct and wave that flag off.
And at this point in the ball game, we have yet to see either of the coaches throw out the red flag for an instant replay request either. So that flag picked up, 5:37. Third and about 5, maybe 6 here for the Hornets. That pass incomplete. Tried to connect it out to Isaiah Dixon, and Summerlin throws it away. And Corey, that's a 4th down for Baker Hornets.
That's one of those perimeter passes that you have to complete. I talked about it on my checklist. If Baker wants to sustain long drives, they have to complete perimeter passes, and that's one of those situations that Summerlin, probably for the second time tonight, has not been able to hit the wide receiver in his hands.
Hunter Tillman back to receive for Theodore, setting up at about his own 40-yard line. Clean snap to Tanner. He gets it off. Nice punt, Corey. Nice punt. Tillman calls for a fair catch, so he'll down that at about the 34-yard line. Join Homeroom with Renee Phillips and find out the latest homework tips and what's happening inside the schools and classrooms. It's Homeroom with Renee Phillips right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Enjoyed having her with us last week at Pritchard Stadium.
Yes, she stopped by for a halftime interview. Director of Communications, Renee Phillips, had a great time, enjoyed herself there at the ball game. Corey, I did as well. It was a packed house. And tonight it's just as packed as well. It's just the hooligans are still quiet, Corey.
That's right. They saw themselves on camera and tried to get excited, and they really need that boost of energy. The defense needs to come away with some type of takeover right here to get the sidelines juice back up.
First possession for Theodore. They drove down and picked up a touchdown. They're going to try to pick up where they left off, giving that ball to Jimmy Haywood. Look at him run. The defense trying to strip it from him, and possibly they did get it out. The ball is out. Let's see if the officials will call that a fumble or if they'll say if he's down. They're discussing it.
And I think it was a fumble. I really think that the ball was ripped out because they didn't hear a whistle.
Coach Danny Smith reaching for that red flag, Corey.
If they don't overturn it, he's going to
throw
throw
it.
it.
Is. Danny Smith has thrown out the red flag. He wants an instant replay review of that play, Corey.
And they're going to come over and take a look at that situation. Niles Hadaway, the cornerback, 6 foot, 155-pound senior, was in on the play, and it's an opportunity now to have our first official review.
This is our first instant replay review of the season. Some of you may have heard, you may not. The Alabama High School Athletic Association authorized the use of instant replay this season, starting this season. The home team would have to buy the equipment and furnish it as well. So this is a play that Coach Danny Smith would like to have reviewed. And Corey, there's a look of the replay system right there on the sidelines. We got a chance to look at it before the ball game as well. So referee Alan Duhan, along with another official, going to go over and review that play, Corey.
Right on about the 25-yard line is the instant replay tent. On the Baker sidelines is the side judge officials are over talking to Eric Collier, and what Eric Collier is saying is, hey guys, I thought that the whistle blew prior to the ball being fumbled, so that's what he was hoping for, but the Baker defenders were trying
tugging
like a can opener. We call that the can opener drill defensively, to where they're just trying to rip and strip the ball away. Rip and strip was the name of the game, and Baker came away with the football. I just mentioned how huge it would be if Baker is able to get the juice and get some type of turnover right here on their side of the field. It can change the complexion of this game with 4:50 remaining here in the third quarter. How huge would it be for Baker to take the ball over right here and have something good happen for their fans and the football team?
Now, I can remember at media days, the question was posed to Coach Eric Collier if he was in favor of it or against it. He said he's in favor of it. And for the most part, the majority of the coaches we talked at with media days were in favor of the instant replay. But most importantly, Corey, they wanted to share that they believe in the officials. And they know that the officials have a tough job to make a bang-bang call right there. So they have confidence in the officials. They're not complaining, but they are saying if you're going to give it to us, yes, we'll use it, but they weren't exactly requesting it. But I do remember Coach Collier said he was for it. He doesn't have a problem with it.
And I don't know if we can get a replay look at it ourselves to see if it was a situation to where on our replay end, we're able to see the same thing that Mr. Duhan, the white cap, is under the tent looking at. But you know, the call on the field, I do believe that the ball carrier was down. I don't think it was ruled a fumble on the field, and we're going to get our call right here from Mr. Duhan.
Well, here it is at the 4:50 mark in the third quarter. We'll get the call from Alan Duhan.
It says the runner was down.
So the player was down.
And he looked at it on the replay, and he told Danny Smith on that situation, he said, I just looked at it on replay, so we're not going to get it wrong. We had the correct call on the field. Timeout was being charged to Baker.
That's right. They lose the timeout being charged to them for reviewing that play.
Review official, it's a coach's review rather, at the 4:50 mark here in the third quarter.
Now, I would say if I had the situation Coach Danny Smith is in right now, I would throw the flag.
Yeah,
you need
I definitely
something.
would have challenged it.
You need an Uber, a Lyft. You need something to get it going for your Hornets right now.
And that's something that definitely would have done both of those. It would have given them a ride and momentum going. It's a good call by Danny Smith by throwing the red flag. Bring up second down and 1 yard to go. It's a good challenge.
All right, here we go. Play resuming. The clock is now running here in the third quarter. Second and short for the Bobcats. Men moving. Washington in the backfield. And Underwood is just going to plow forward behind that line. Some player lost his helmet on the field for Theodore. I believe number 68, DeMarcus Smith, loses his helmet, so he'll have to come out of play. But that's enough to get the first down for the Bobcats, and they'll be moving those chains shortly.
Underwood trying to get under his right tackle, 5'10", 180-pound junior Desmond Ford got his pad level very low and was able to get some push against this front seven of the Baker Hornets. And the front seven of these Baker Hornets really need to establish themselves. And I mentioned moments ago they tried to create that can opener turnover situation. They really need one here as the Bobcats are at their own 47.
Handoff to Devontae Washington. Big hole there, Corey, and he continues to run into Baker Hornets territory. Moving past the midfield stripe, it is first down for Theodore. Also thank the Jersey Mikes tonight, the authentic sub since 1956. Corey, absolutely great tonight. Jersey Mike was on it, I have to say.
Truly a sub above his Jersey Mikes. Visit one of their 3 locations, one in Malbus, 2 right here in Mobile, 1 on Dolphin Street, 1 down the street in West Mobile on Airport Boulevard, a 4th location coming soon to Saraland.
Jersey Mike's always on top of it with a sub above. Theodore on top right now, in control here. This is their second possession in the third quarter. They're utilizing the clock. They're utilizing the run game. What do you say? It's Jimmy Haywood up the middle, 10-5, brought down maybe at about the 4 or 5 yard line. Corey, this running game for Theodore is unbelievable tonight.
And it's, again, Jimmy Haywood and Devontae Washington. Devontae Washington had 8 rushes for 58 yards. You look at the replay right here as the defender for Baker tries to strip it away at the last moment and is unable to do so. So now it'll be first down and goal to go for the Bobcats with 3:05 remaining here in the third quarter.
Ball planted right there on the 4th yard line. It's like they're doing the 1-2 punch with Devontae Washington, then they give you some Jimmy Haywood and come back with a little Devontae Washington. So Coach Collier and the coaching staff definitely doing in the power I formation right there. Haywood up the middle, boom, 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 touchdown, Corey. Theodore on the board with more points.
And now Haywood on that last rush prior to that one eclipsed the 100-yard rushing mark for the contest. And just like that, the Baker Hornets are now trailing 19-0 with the injured football player on the field, and that's going to be William Neese, the defensive lineman, 6 foot, 220-pound senior, down for the Hornets.
Staying right up the middle right there in that nose tackle position. They're stretching him out as well. So at 2:48, Theodore gets the touchdown now right there from Haywood, 4-yard scamper. Increases the lead to 19-0 here as they're working on Neese down on the field. Coach Danny Smith coming out, check him out as well.
Coach Eric Collier wanted to make sure his team took care of what Theodore can control. And one of the things that they can control, and they have controlled, is this clock here in the third quarter. And they just are absolutely grounding and pounding right now against this Hornet defense. And it's going to be important here on this drive for the Hornet offense to answer the call.
You're right about that. Future One answering the call, and yes, they are tonight, Corey. Got to thank them for the gear providing us. I said about it earlier, the non-wicking material. It was a little humid when the game started. I had no sweat on me, and then the breeze came. I was cool as well, Corey. So Future Ones, man, got to thank them. And my daughter told me, she said, "Daddy, I love your shirt tonight." Got the loud lime green working right here. So, Evie, thank you. Thank you for the compliment, Evie.
And again, Future Ones, you have Trent Massey and Gus Smith providing all your athletic apparel for any sport that you may have. They do full custom game day uniforms. Just signed Trent Richardson, the former Alabama running back who just signed in the Alliance Football League. So thank you to Future Ones.
So Theodore going for 2 right here. Trying to increase the lead to 21-0, and that is complete. The try is good. Pass complete to Hunter Tillman. So that is a 2-point conversion, correct. 21-0. Theodore on top. We'll be back with more action with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm Terry, and we'd like to invite you to join us as we take a look at nature in ways that you've never seen before.
Come travel with us as we go coast to coast to uncover some of the most interesting animals
and some of the most beautiful scenery that's offered outdoors.
You can join us on our nature adventures right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey LeBounty. Down on the sidelines is Kimberly Dunn to find out what's happening in Mobile County Public Schools, from school news to weather alerts. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or our website, mcpssthewire.com. 2-point try, good right there for the Bobcats. They're up 21-0, Corey.
And I tell you what, they have a good one going on over at the lip. In the fourth quarter, McGill leads Murphy 7-3.
I heard that McGill's quarterback, Sheldon Lehman, wasn't playing tonight, so they brought in junior Dallas Daffin getting his first start. And on the start right there, Anthony Phillips trying to start up something for the Baker Hornets because they're needed, down 21 points with 2:37 remaining in the third quarter.
Need that big boost of offensive energy right here. And Nick Summerlin has to be able to go ahead and sustain a drive here for the Baker Hornet offense, because that defense has been on the field for a long time.
Right.
That Theodore offense really drove the ball down and probably took some 6 minutes off of the clock during that last drive. So it's going to be important for Fernando Billups and Joshua Pruitt, Kobe Bush to really get involved here, and you must convert on to get you some first downs and move the sticks.
Hornets in the I formation. Going to hand it off to Pruitt. Got the blocker up the middle, but wrapped up, Corey. It appeared as if the hole was open, but it closed immediately, and he is tackled.
And one of the interesting things that Danny Smith said going into halftime is you can look for some vertical shots by the Hornets, and I don't think they've converted a pass over 15 yards this entire night. 17, 20 total yards of passing by the Hornets receivers, and that's just not enough to show the type of balance that this Hornet offense needs against this Bobcat team trailing 21-0. You're going to have to complete perimeter passes and vertical shots against this Bobcat team trailing 21-0.
We do know there's new offense coordinator, defense coordinator for Davison Pruitt. Upset right now, couldn't make the turn as he's brought down. And maybe it's some feeling out, Corey, going on, getting to learn your players, getting to learn your coach as well. This is their first ball game of the season, but I do agree with you. You don't want to get down too far, because then you got to show your hand. It's almost like you got to throw on every play at that point. But right now you have opportunity to do some play action and get some running going here.
Yeah, you want to try to get Summerlin outside the pocket and get him throwing on the run, just like they're doing right here. A little throwback, nice completion. Let's see what he does with it.
Kobe Bush on the move, crosses midfield. A definite first down needed for the Hornets, and Kobe Bush picks it up. Summerlin does work well when he goes outside the pocket, Corey. We've noticed that tonight. So that's a big first down right there. Let's take a live look at Citronelle on the road. Well, first we got the replay coming. There it is.
Nice misdirection and a throwback play to your nice fullback. Kobe Bush is able to pick up the first down and move the sticks. They take over at the Bobcat 45.
1 minute, under 1 minute remains here in the third quarter. Clock on the move. Toss to Pruitt. He's got room, but there's a flag on the play. take a live look in here. Citronelle and Leroy. Citronelle all over them, 34-0. Less than 10 minutes remaining in the contest, so Citronelle should pick that win up pretty easily right there.
And that'll be a big win for the Wildcat program if they're able to go ahead and secure that win.
Yeah. They have a new coach up there, Citronelle as well, so this will be a big victory for them. We'll be visiting them in a few weeks as well on the road. Coach Jason Barnett, new coach, picking up a win. That'll be huge for him. So that play is coming back. Run by Pruitt right there, but ball coming back on a hole by Baker. So it'll be 2nd down for the Hornets. We'll call it about 2nd and 15, Corey.
And that's something that Baker doesn't want to do. They don't want to go in reverse, brings them back to midfield. Now you're looking at about a 1st down and 15 yards to go.
Sorry, 1st down. He did pick up the 1st down, but yeah, it is 1st down. We have 1st and 15. Play clock under 10 right now. Summerlin looking to connect with his receiver. Overthrows him right there. So that'll take it to 2nd down, stops the clock with 15.4 seconds remaining here. As you saw the score, Theodore on top, 21-0. Theodore averaged 13 points on offense last season and only gave up 16 points. I'm sorry, this season they averaged 13 and gave up 16 last week to Daphne. So right now, offense is clicking for the Bobcats. It's pretty much been a dose of Haywood and Washington, and more Haywood and Washington for the Bobcats tonight.
Yeah, if they're able to get this region win, the Bobcats, it'll be, they're looking for the first region championship since 2000. And we know the last 3 years, McGill has absolutely dominated 7A Region 1. So they're in for a fight tonight to try to paint the cannon over with Murphy. And we're going to end the 3rd quarter with the Bobcats leading 21-0, Al.
They are on top right now, 21-0 as we head into the 4th quarter. It'll be our last quarter of action here as we get ready for the 4th quarter. Don't move, come back. It's the last quarter headed your way. Theodore is on top right now, 21-0.
I think it's a good idea for students to enroll in this program because it offers a sort of new way to learn. It feels like in AP classes, you're actually expected to learn and apply yourself and apply the knowledge as well. Helped me to learn how to work harder. It's helped me learn my limits as a student. It's sort of helped me to be more confident in myself as well as a student in my abilities.
Your vehicle is not a toy. It's a responsibility. Don't text and drive.
Welcome back to action. Here's the 4th quarter of the MCPSS High School football game of the week between Theodore and Baker. 3rd down for the Hornets. Nick Summerlin rolling out. He's going to air it out as Corey has asked him to do a few times, and that ball is intercepted, Corey. Intercepted. Trey Pines picks it off.
You're trying to complete that pass to Anthony Denton Jr. As we take a look at the replay, Nick Summerlin rolls out to his right and has a good throw. It's a nice spiral, and unfortunately the wrong person comes out from under it. Trey Pines, the 5'6", 150-pound junior, had 3 tackles and 2 pass breakups 1 week ago, picks up his first interception of the contest, and it will be the Bobcats' 2nd interception of Nick Summerlin tonight. He has 3 interceptions. He's 5 out of 16 for 40 yards and 3 interceptions.
So you could almost say it was an interception, but it was a long punt to a certain degree because it was 3rd down, Corey. So if that was incomplete, they would have been punting. So right now, Theodore on their own 27-yard line. I'm sorry, 24-yard line. Up the middle comes that Haywood on the run, I believe. Get a jersey on him. Yeah, Haywood on the carry right there. Picks up a couple, and a Theodore Bobcat down on the field.
It's going to be one of the big offensive linemen down on the field. Looks like it may be Trey
Player
Owens.
for Theodore. 11:37 here remaining in the final period.
Believe it is Owens right there.
Can't really tell. I know the first number begins with the 7. He already, you know, most offensive linemen play with 2 knee braces to try to protect themselves. And it doesn't look like it appears to be a cramp in this situation, as he's kind of beaten up on the grass turf, saying he's in a little bit of pain. Trainers tended to him right now, so we hope that he's able to get up and make his way off the field and be healthy, because those big linemen.
Let's take it down to the sidelines and check in with Kim once again.
Hey guys, unfortunately, as we are entering this 4th quarter, we're starting to see more and more injuries. Finally, that Theodore player is able to stand up now, and he is limping off the field. But going back to the Baker player, number 45, that limped off the field, it was an ankle injury. He, the same as number 10 earlier, is still trying to walk up and down these sidelines, just trying to, I guess, get it loose and trying to get back on the field. We tried speaking with some of the trainers to see if he would be able to finish this game out. They were unsure of how he was going to be able to finish, or if he was going to have to sit out the rest of the game. So I'll try to keep you updated on that player as I check on Theodore's player as well.
Thank you, Kimberly. She's referring to William Neese, who went out on that touchdown play earlier. So we have not seen him come back into the game so far tonight.
That was Trey Owens, the 5'9", 240-pound senior that was helped off the field for the Bobcats.
Hand off to Jimmy Haywood, and he runs into a wall of Hornets. No gain on that play, so the Hornets defense taking a stand. It's 3rd down for the Bobcats.
So very important now for Baker to get some type of stop and have a short field to work on, because now the clock is your enemy with 11 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. A big play right here at 3rd down and 6 yards to go for the Bobcats. That hard count's going to draw them off sides, and if it's not 3rd down and 5, it will be 3rd down in inches, depending on exactly where the ball is spotted.
So that will give the Bobcats 5 more yards. And it looks as if it's going to be close to the 1st down. And there it is. Alan Duhan gives it the signal. 1st down. So 1st and 10 here for the Bobcats, Corey. And that clock is going to continue to move, which is not helping Baker out at all.
Again, you're going to try to rip the ball away, because you know Eric Collier and offensive coordinator Justin Ridgway for the Theodore Bobcats want to spend and waste as much time as they can. Ball security is going to be at a premium right here, as the only thing that can really pressure you is a bad handoff or a situation to where you have a throwback and a drop.
Little quick out right there to Zach Workman. He takes it up the middle, trying to get to the midfield stripe, and he does. And he is brought down. Let's take a look at 3rd quarter statistics. I believe there's a flag on the play as well, Corey. So, yeah, on the far side, there is a flag there.
It may negate close to a 25, 27-yard completion. And we're looking at the 3rd quarter overall stats. Rushing yards have definitely tipped to the scale of favor of the Theodore Bobcats. 178 rushing yards to Baker's 75. You look at the passing yards, only 4 for Theodore, but 20 for Baker. 182 total yards for the Bobcats, only 95 for Baker.
All heavy, running the rock.
And we know that Baker has at least 3 turnovers because it's been 3 interceptions that have been thrown by Summerlin.
That's right.
The penalty yards, Theodore has 3 penalties for over 35 yards. 1st and 10 now for the Theodore Bobcats.
So that play is upheld, Corey. Does not come back. 1st and 10 for Theodore inside Baker territory right in front of us at the 46-yard line. And Devontae Washington is snuffed out and stopped behind the 50 there. Baker taking a stand on 1st down against the Bobcats there.
That's the kind of stop that you need. Create negative plays on 1st down situation. Now it's going to be 2nd down and 13 yards to go for the Bobcats. And I was kind of surprised that they haven't gone to Zachary Workman a little bit more, because I know he's the transfer from McGill-Tulane. Did not play a week ago against the Daphne Trojans, but he's 6'1", 175-pound senior. We saw the type of speed that he has when he does possess the football, and he's a wide receiver that Coach Collier speaks very highly of.
Underwood snaps the ball just under the play clock. Corey, you called it. There's a pass to Workman across the middle, and he's working it up the field into the red zone. Big play for the Theodore Bobcats.
Young man has hands, and when your coach brings it to the attention in our meetings, you know you need to watch him. So I had an opportunity to go out and watch them this past Tuesday in practice. He was very impressive. Watched him in pregame warm-ups. Didn't see him drop the football once. Knew that he was hungry for the football, and now Ridgeway has found him a wide receiver to go along with Underwood's arm.
1st and 10, ball on the 18-yard line. Underwood looks to the sideline to get the call. Devontae Washington in the backfield, set up in the pistol formation. Play clock under 5. Underwood being very smart, running that play clock down and using the game clock. Across the middle, ball is tipped. Try to go back to Workman once again. That'll take Theodore to 2nd down.
Yeah, that's a situation where you know once these two guys continue to build chemistry throughout the season, you'll see a lot of Tyler Underwood to Zachary Workman. Also Hunter Tillman, the young man who had 2 touchdown receptions a week ago against the Daphne Trojans in the slot. That makes for a dangerous combination for Tyler Underwood and Justin Ridgeway, who was the offensive coordinator. The Williamson Lions leading the LaFleur Rattlers 21-0 in the 4th quarter.
Blunt on top of Robertsdale there, 18-7. Hand off to Haywood, up the middle he goes. Picks up a couple. Theodore moves to 3rd down. Davidson all over Bryant, 26-7. Some of the scores coming in right there on our MCPSS scoreboard crawl. As we approach 8 minutes remaining in the ball game, I think this is very significant. Tyler Underwood, the senior quarterback, sat back the past 2 years behind Trevor Andrews, got to learn a lot, and look at him manage the game, Corey. No need to rush, no need to, do things hastily. Just take your time. We're in control, and he's burning that clock for the Bobcats tonight.
Ball security and ball control are going to be important for the Bobcats.
Jimmy Haywood tried to make the cut and slipped right there. Possibly could have picked up the 1st down. So that'll take Theodore to 4th down. So let's see if they attempt a field goal here or if they'll just go for it. We know the conditions are slippery. So I do see Marcos Lynn coming in to attempt the field goal here, Corey.
Looks like it'll be close to 15, 25, 35. It'll be a 32-yard field goal being attempted by the Theodore Bobcats.
Marcos Lynn on the kick. This attempt. Kick is up, and it is good. Theodore extends their lead 24-0 over Baker. We'll be back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. When it comes to high school sports, scores, players, and the latest on all sports within Mobile County Public Schools, you can get informed on MCPSS Athletics with Brad Lowell, only on the MCPSS TV network. Corey, Theodore all in charge and all over Baker tonight. The score 24-0. Theodore has scored on both of their drives to start each quarter in the 3rd and 4th quarter tonight to get this pretty much game out of control at this point.
Yeah, Coach Collier wanted to see improvement in his special teams, and anytime you can hit a 30-plus yard field goal, that's the type of improvement that you want to see. In the first half, they had a punt that was semi-tipped, and that's something that they were able to clean up with their special teams play. Kicking the ball off now, you'd love to see it sail to the end zone or make Baker drive over 80 yards with the football.
Hornets bringing this one out up to about the 23-24 yard line. And Corey, if I didn't know it, I wouldn't think I was here at the stadium at Baker. I don't hear a hooligan. I don't hear a Hornet. I just hear the breeze going right now.
Yeah, it's a situation now where Baker is faced trailing 24-0 with 6:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's going to be important for them. It doesn't matter if they're able to string along a long 3 or 4 minute drive. You just want to put points on the board and have some type of positive momentum. Now, you must realize that Baker has a short work week in order because they turn around, and if I'm not, well, not a short work week, they're playing a week from tonight at Ladd Stadium against the Davidson Warriors.
Summerlin hands the ball off to Bush. He takes it up the middle, picks up maybe 4 or 5 on the play. It'll take the Hornets to second down there.
Battle for the cannon tonight. McGill-Tulin leading Murphy 17-3 with close to 6 minutes left in the game.
Shot of Eric Collier right there patrolling the sidelines. It's Bobcats all in control tonight. Little play action, connects with Phillips.
That's big.
That should be close to a first down. And actually, it should be enough to get the first down. And the chains are moving, Corey. So the Hornets do need to possibly play a little tempo right here.
Yeah, you have Anthony Phillips on the completion, but that's one of those perimeter passes that you wanted to see the Hornets kind of complete early that gives Summerlin a lot of confidence, but the Bobcats are making sure they don't get beat deep. So they'll give up the dinks and dunks underneath to go ahead and try to keep the Hornets to kill the clock.
Summerlin has 3 interceptions tonight. Not a very good passing night. That interception brought in, but immediately shut down on the reception, Jaden Jackson.
Yeah, A.J. Braxton, 5'11", 170
You just talked about that
senior.
Oh, excuse me, Corey. You just talked about that McGill score right there. If they continue and hold on next week, we'll be having Fairhope and Murphy Thursday night at Ladd, and that means the Panthers would enter that ball game 0-2. So the kickoff there, I'm sorry, Jonas says 6:55, but that would be huge right there, seeing Murphy go into a third week at 0-2.
Yeah, it's a situation that's going to be big for both of these teams as it's another huge 7A Region 1 matchup.
Heat timeout right now at 5:49, and we have Kimberly Dunn waiting on the sidelines.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to what I'm seeing over here on this football field. Comparing these two teams, Theodore definitely looks like they're much more sure of themselves. I think last week they really had an opportunity to fill themselves out, to figure out what kind of team that they were going to be, and they are really implementing that tonight. And because this is Baker's first game, I'm going to give them a little bit of slack, but I am definitely seeing they are still very unsure as of themselves. They're still trying to find their identity. Every play, they're looking over to the sides trying to see, okay, what call, what play are we about to do? What play are we about to execute? So I think that this was Baker's night to really try to figure themselves out. So hopefully next week they will come out with a little bit more fight in them as they are able to figure out what kind of team they are going to be.
Thank you, Kimberly. Good observation down on the field. I think she's right about that, Corey. I kind of talked about it earlier. The kids getting used to the coordinators getting used to the kids. That pass incomplete right there, take Baker to third down. But, you know, there's a filling out process as well. And having that extra week last week maybe could have been costly for the Hornets. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily. I think it helped the Hornets myself because what you had an opportunity to do was an extra week to study your opponent, and you knew what type of schemes that the Bobcats were going to bring to you tonight. And you look at it, it was 7-0 in the first quarter, and you throw an interception in the end zone, having an opportunity in your own red zone to make it 7-7, and it totally changes the dynamics of this football game.
It did. The air kind of went out right there. 5:32 remaining here in the contest. 3rd and short for the Hornets. Little play action. Trying to connect with Denson. There's some touching back and forth, Corey. I don't see a flag. Denson was covered up. He's asking for the flag, but no flag comes out. So Baker to 4th down.
5:24 remaining here in the fourth quarter as we take a look at that replay. Both the defender and the receiver were jostling for position, and I guess the officials felt that it was a total wash, and they felt no need for the yellow rag to come out, so therefore it stays a little cleaner on this wet field.
Yeah, Trey Pines appeared as if he got his head turned around, so no call right there. Kimberly talked about it. The Baker players on the sidelines kind of looking as to what's really going on. Made me think about Coach Eric Collier said at media days, he feels if his kids can get it together, we can't just settle for getting into the playoffs. We want a home playoff win. We can contend in the region. It's time we got to get over the hump and try to win this region here. So they put on a good display tonight, up 24-0 as Tillman just lets that ball run to the 17-yard line where it's down.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move by Hunter Tillman, because not only does the clock continue to tick away,
right,
even offensively, if you're able to ground and pound over the next couple of minutes, it'll continue to wear this Hornet defense out, and you don't have to bust the big one because you're up 24-0. You're in your comfort zone, and I would really be surprised unless they get far behind the sticks early that this offense that's being called tonight by Justin Ridgway decides to pass the ball again. Because, again, you're going to make Baker burn those timeouts at some point in time in the fourth quarter, trailing 24-0 with 5:10 remaining.
And I had a feeling if they were going to pull Underwood, and it appears as if they have, Gavin Moore, the backup quarterback, number 17, 5'10", 168 junior, enters the ball game, and what does he do, Corey? Hands it off to Devontae Washington.
And you have to make that call because, again, you're gaining Gavin Moore with valuable reps against a quality 7A Region 1 opponent.
Yes, sir.
And anytime you can get him quality reps in game time situations against anything other than the same type of jersey that he's wearing, it'll prove to be invaluable, as we saw Sheldon Lehman for another 7A Region 1 team tonight not be able to play.
That's right.
So as the backup, you always have to be ready because you never know when your number's going to be called.
4:30 remaining here in the contest. Moore under center in the power I formation, handing off once again to Washington. Offensive lineman kind of pushing him forward, close to the first down marker. Let's see where they spot the ball here. It's close. Chains are moving, Corey, so that was a first down. 2 plays, Theodore picks up the first down. Back-to-back runs by Washington.
Will continue to grind out the clock with the Bobcats, and you have a situation now again where the Bobcats want to bleed the clock, the play clock as well as the game clock as much as they can. Probably won't snap the ball until under 5 seconds each and every possession.
Little pitch out to Washington.
Devontae Washington on a soft sweep around the right side.
Takes possibly a loss, or maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage right there. So it'll take Theodore to second down. Interesting ball game tonight, Corey. We kind of played it between the 30s in the first half, just a little here and a little there. Then the third quarter, Theodore comes out, picks up a touchdown on their first possession, and kind of opens the game up a bit more.
Yeah, it's a situation to where how big was it for Baker to get into the red zone early and not come away with any points.
Yeah.
And Theodore just found a way to keep chipping away and be able to put points on the board once they establish themselves in the red zone.
Hand off to Haywood, line trying to push him forward. Forward progress may give him one, or he may be right at the line of scrimmage. Either way, the clock continues to move. Danny Smith hasn't called any timeout, so I think he's pretty much conceded it at this point. Under 3 minutes remain in the contest. It's 3rd and long for the Bobcats.
And again, for the Baker Hornets and their fans, this is a team with 37 seniors that's going to show better leadership and has better leadership, and they're not going to quit. They're going to continue to fight, and that's the one thing that I love about a Danny Smith coach team. They never quit. They never give up. They're always going to fight, and they'll regroup and have an opportunity to see themselves on film this week and get better.
Little end around action here from the Bobcats, pretty much staying in bounds and letting that clock run. Traylon Martin with the end around run. It'll take Theodore to 4th down.
Something you've seen a lot of by the Bobcats tonight are speed sweeps. We saw it earlier in the game to where they tried to run the speed sweep to Traylon Martin. We've seen him run the speed sweep for a touchdown pass by Hunter Tillman.
Sure have.
And all that set up, again, your eye candy. If you're not disciplined defensively, what winds up happening is you get caught looking at the speed sweep, you see the handoff, you step up, and the wide receiver gets behind you, and now your responsibilities are negated, is what we saw on one of those touchdowns that was scored by the Bobcats.
Nice punt by Seth Tillman. Great hang time right there. Ball is fair caught by Jalen Lee. So Baker will take over with 1:38 remaining here in the contest, down 24-0 in their home opener.
Yeah, it's been a situation to where it's been tough for Baker tonight. Nick Summerlin has kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And, again, this offense hasn't been able to put any points on the board, but I tell you what, Justin Patterson coming over for first year at Saraland, they're going to work real hard now that they have actual game footage to look at on film.
Right.
They're going to build off of not only what they did in the spring correctly, but what they did tonight correctly, and they'll work on what they did incorrectly, and they're going to try to put points on the board this last 135.
The chant of "Let's go Baker" resounding throughout the stadium right now. On the carry, Jonathan Chapman with the carry. Picks up a couple yards as the clock is approaching 1 minute remaining here in the ball game.
Baker Hornets now looking at 2nd down and 6 yards to go from their own 43.
Hand off to Chapman once again. Tried to make that turn, and he slipped right at the hash mark there, Corey.
Going to have a couple more downs. That's going to bring up 3rd down and probably about 8.5. We'll call it 3rd down and 9 yards to go now. A loss on the play for the Hornets, and
change
50
at quarterback
seconds
well.
remaining.
Reese Earhart comes in as Summerlin goes out. Earhart is a 6'1", 188 senior. We saw him briefly last year at the Baker Bryant game down in the I. That game won by Bryant last year. Under 40 seconds remaining here, 3rd down. Hand off to Chapman, up the middle he goes. As you said, they're going to continue to fight and play hard. Might as well. Approaching the midfield stripe, Corey.
Looks like there's going to be an injury on the play. That's going to be to a Bobcat. Number 35, Cedric Coleman down for the Bobcats.
That stops the clock right there with 20 seconds remaining here in the contest. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Ladd Stadium. 6:55, we go live. It's Fairhope and Murphy, so join us for that. See Coach Eric Collier approaching Coleman out there in the middle of the field. And once again, got to thank everyone who joined us last week for that ball game. Blunt and Viger, Corey, the highest rated telecast we've had. So much social media action, so many people watching live, and just the support and just the overflow that came out was unreal last week.
Yeah, I mean, when you have one of the premier matchups, not only here locally, but in the entire state of Alabama, we want to thank the viewers for tuning in to the multiple sites on which they can watch a wonderful MCPSS television network production.
And we'll be back at it again next week, as I just said. Fairhope will be coming across the bay. That should always be a pretty good game. Fairhope and Murphy right there. Rivals for years, and 7A Region 1 rivals as well. So Coleman, under his own power, goes off the field. So that's a good look right there. Young man hopefully will check out and be ready for action next week. Game clock is started. Under 20 seconds here. This should be the last play of the ball game. So let's see if Baker tries to air it out with a Hail Mary or something, try to get some points on the board here. Earhart simply hands it off to Chapman, takes it up the middle, and that'll wrap it up. So Theodore gets the win tonight, 24-0 over Baker. Shuts them out in their home opener here. Very run-heavy Bobcat team tonight, but also 3 interceptions for Nick Summerlin, and that probably had a contributing effect to the Bobcats getting that win tonight, Cora.
Yeah, you look at what the keys were on my checklist for Theodore. They had to start fast early, which they did. Scored in the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds and had the extra point to make it 7-0. They had to show an improvement in special teams. They were able to kick a 34-yard field goal to put points on the board.
Right.
And they also need to figure out a way to stop the new offensive and defensive coordinator schemes for the Baker Hornets and were able to do that also.
Also, Theodore scored in their first possession in the third quarter, and their first possession in the fourth quarter pretty much opened the game up. They had a PAT block, but then came back after the third touchdown and went for the 2-point try, and were successful.
Yeah, very successful. Again, coming away with a huge 7A Region 1 win with the Theodore Bobcats, and that's going to get them going in the right direction now.
Let's take it down to the field. Kimberly Dunn with winning coach Eric Collier.
Hey, Coach, so how do you feel about your team's performance in tonight's game?
We finally come out and played a complete half. Both sides of the ball played well. Special teams played well. So I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of the way we came out and responded. We talked to them at halftime. And, it was a miss here and there in the first half. We knew we were playing good ball. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
And this was a conference game for y'all. So what does this conference win mean for y'all?
Well, it's a 9-team region. So you can't let any of them slip. So this is huge. This is one of those games that about week 7 or 8 is going to be big.
So what are some things your team needs to improve on in order to prepare for next week's game?
I thought we played well, but I also thought right there at the end we kind of slowed down a little bit with our just emotions and intensity. But biggest thing is this: I want to make sure we can go back and fix our passing game a little better.
All right, thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Hig winning coach Eric Collier right there gets the victory tonight, 24-0. That's going to do it here for us for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. For Corey Bounty, Kimberly Dunn, I'm Al Wheaton, executive producer Quentin Howard, and the entire MCPSS production crew. We thank you for joining us. Next week, we're taking it back to Lad People Stadium. It's Fairhope and Murphy for another region rivalry in the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good night.